Oh shit.
So annoyed.
Hello,
So
everyone.
Vincent, tell us where you hid the dead body.
In
We
your
want
house.
to know.
There's nowhere to put it though.
I said your house, but
No, with that
it means
attitude.
above or underneath.
Listen, it was a very
I
nice meal,
have
and I
an
thanked you for it.
apartment.
Exactly. So underneath.
There are no bottom. It's
It's
just
you
called
just
digging
put
a
the
hole right
apartment
under
below
it.
yours.
What's the joke? God damn it.
Oh
Listen,
my
the
god.
day body was just flopping there, and I was like, well, if it's gonna flop like a fish, I may as well eat it like a fish, and I made tuna out of it.
So blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah,
Oh,
blah, blah,
no.
blah, blah, blah.
Tuna salad was never the same after that, but I'll tell you what, zesty.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Egg.
Wait, where am I?
Where are you?
Where am I?
Where are you? You tell me.
Where's the picture? Where's the
Do I need to do
I
the
don't
thing?
see the city.
the thing got removed?
How do I direct everybody?
Control, hold control, and then click.
Yeah,
Okay.
Control click.
Question. What are we doing?
Right click,
this
I
session?
think. Or left click.
Me
One,
and the
two.
friends.
I'm trying to
Or
do
shift.
Except for
things,
zero.
but
Zero's
It
still
It may be
stuck.
shift.
Yeah.
I'm trying all the things that I
Did you hold shift and click?
I'm holding.
Do the
I'm
other
holding
shift.
all the things. I'm
Right.
holding Control, Alt,
Button. Did you
Control, Alt, Shift, click.
Did you
right
work the
click.
shaft?
Oh no.
Gosh darn it, Vincent.
Here, I'll just
Oh
put
my
everyone on the
God.
previous page. There. Congratulations.
It's
I
still
see
nothing.
nothing.
Wait, I can
nothing.
I can see the main page.
I
I
see.
think
If you scroll down,
Everything
it
got
is. There it is, there it is.
moved
Gosh darn
around.
it.
I don't know why.
Yay,
Serious
you
it
worked
is.
the shaft correctly.
oh
I
my
think
gosh.
maybe
Gosh
they're
darn
telling
it,
me it's
buddy.
time for a new
Gosh
background.
New background.
New background. New background.
Wait, let's see if I have something appropriate. Because
Never
tonight
appropriate.
there is a special event planned in Kindred World. It is, of course, Friday the 13th, and bad luck
Happy
abounds.
Friday the 13th,
yeah.
everyone.
Doom, 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 doom.
Today was
We're
miserable.
gonna die.
Most Kindred aren't particularly superstitious, but they do believe in appropriate caution. And with that in mind, the prince has called an Elysium this night. Every kindred in the town is expected to attend, either Anarch or Camarilla. And any other interlopers are not particularly welcome, but their
we're not allowed.
arrival is expected.
So we're not allowed.
Sure you are.
Hey guys, you wanna go crash the prince's party?
Hell yeah!
It's like the best day ever.
Soccer, Dent's just ready with some firecrackers, and he has the biggest smile on his face. He's
I
like,
think this picture, the quality seems really bad to me.
I like it.
Does it look terrible to everyone else, or does it look
I don't
okay?
see anything.
No, no.
That looks
It looks
okay to
good.
me.
Looks like a panorama.
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
You don't see any?
I still don't
Here, I'm
see
just gonna
anything.
make a new page because I don't know what it's doing.
Are
We'll
you?
just work this out on the fly.
No.
Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine.
What if Vincent was just being a goof?
No, I'm not.
Nope.
I literally expanded out. You can
Doesn't
look
matter.
at
It's
the
too
shit.
late now.
Are
Let's
we?
see. Let's turn
I'm
that light.
honest whenever it comes down to making sure everything's semi-proper.
And then
'Cause
let's
I'm
find
an
an appropriate
editor at heart.
picture.
Essen.
Stop.
Sorry, I had to.
Stop. It's time to stop.
It's time to continue.
I'm so upset.
There we go. This one's high resolution. I don't know what
Enhance.
happened to the previous page.
Enhance. Deeper. Harder.
Okay,
Harder.
and that should be easy enough for everyone to find.
Where? Where though? I think I have to leave.
Scroll
the page.
down.
I already.
No, no,
I
no.
already have it on.
Vincent's literally on a blank page.
I am literally on a blank page.
Reload the game.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
Just-
wrong.
Just reload.
It
It's just
hates me. It's
me,
like,
it's just a-
you're a loser. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Everyone else
But
singing okay though?
Yeah, I can see everything.
Okay.
I got spoopy music on my side.
I can hear
Right.
myself twice in this weird.
I need some spooky music now that you mention it.
Man,
I can
do
say
still need
the
to-
stuff I did. I
Get
found.
this synced up.
I'm gonna listen to various little ditties of Batman
Kong
theme
Racing?
music. Various forms of Batman.
Ooh.
And I have Mara's outfit for today.
I like this Higurashi thing.
Don't worry, this lasts for an hour, so that covers my butt for an hour.
Higurashi.
Ooh.
Well, since it's Halloween, might as well time to play filler.
Isn't that Vince's ringtone
Yes.
for his character?
Cause it's the thriller.
I
God
was
damn it,
talking
we're not
about,
talking-
isn't that your
That was one of them.
character?
I think that one got thrown away after a point.
Dang it. I was real. I was like, dang. I really want.
Who needs music when we can make our own uncopyrighted music?
Wait a minute.
All together, we sound terrifying.
Yes.
Alright, I'll play that as soon as this OST is done.
Okay. Right, copyright strikes. But in the meanwhile, you have any water blank?
I am choking on water.
You can
Oh
find
my
a monkey
goodness.
in Sea of Thieves and
Oh,
pet
no.
it.
Okay, I'm good.
Sorry,
How do you
good.
save yourself if you're choking on water and
You
someone
can
tells
shoot a
you to
monkey
drink
out of a
water?
cannon.
Take a deep breath, and if you can't do that, then hold your breath for a few
Monkey.
seconds until the coughing stops, and then let it out slowly. And then take another deep breath, hold it, let it out, and just stabilize your breathing.
I found a way to not die over that.
Hey! But
I learned something
would
every day.
anybody like to recount what happened in our last session? Because it's been a while.
It has been, and I don't have good memory.
Shit hit the fan.
So,
I can say it if
I
I only vaguely remember bits and pieces, so
I-
I can give bits and pieces summary.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Fill in the holes.
Cool. So last I remember, like the last part was we had just gotten back from dealing with Alistair
Mhm.
and all of his name brand shenanigans.
I thought that was the thing.
Maybe?
Oh, and I still
What?
need my session to be done. Anyways, don't worry about that. It's more
Yeah.
content. Don't worry about it. Anyways, so
What?
yeah,
Besides that, I remember afterwards,
we returned the
long
girl,
car ride, gave my car away,
which didn't
stepped
make
out of
sense,
the vehicle,
and we had to
and
run.
began walking.
No, that was running. It was almost.
Which I don't know
daytime.
why you gave the because Mara just dropped it off at the college.
She just basically abandoned your car at the
But-
front.
I can explain a little bit more. We find out that Annalise's child is with Alistair and she begs us to go save her. So we go and we do the splitty and I do intense fondling. And you guys go talk to the child named Rose, trying to convince her that he's not good.
And we
And
did.
when Alistair realizes that something's wrong, he goes down and tries to fight you guys while I find out some letters. And then you guys kick the shit out of him and killed him.
See, we had the ultimate combination. Whenever it's Dent and Jason, it's always going to be a combination attack. And that's what makes me so happy.
But there's a plot twist because it's not even him, but Mara hasn't said anything about it yet.
Yeah, but we kind of...
And we took Rose back and we're like, take the child.
And then-
Simba.
I mean, to be fair, we all got something out of it in the end. I got a favor. Dent basically got favoritism towards the Baroness.
And had a very nice conversation with her about the future.
Future.
Huge.
And you guys killed probably an not so
Listen,
innocent normal
We
human.
are unaware, and we're not going to get a masquerade for killing a human, technically.
I mean, I literally work for people that the business is killing folks, so that's not like that's like that's like a pebble.
To be fair, we're
You're
not
like,
gonna
that's what
get
I have for
caught.
breakfast.
We're not gonna get caught. That's the thing, because we believe. No, I don't think we're that stupid. Are we that stupid?
You guys didn't notice anything.
Yeah, we just went with it and then just was like, well, it's done.
Well, I had certain things that were more important than dead body on the ground. If it didn't get back up, my job was already done.
Yeah.
It was a
And
rescue
country
mission.
music. I forgot I had the Friday the 13th on, and I was like, I hear banjo music.
Banjo.
And then I
He
pulled
has
out
some
my sick
pretty
banjo.
teeth.
Very
Yeah.
appropriate.
You started doing some sick.
Yeah.
That's a fairly comprehensive recap of everything that happened. Rose was saved, the Baroness owes a few favors, but now, as all of you wake from your slumber through the day to the night, the prince has left each of you a message. He has a number of messengers carrying his decree throughout the city to all kindred within, leaving missives, calling them on the phone with coded messages, instructing them that there is to be an Elysium tonight in his tower, and all kindred of the city, Bree or Camarilla, are expected to be in attendance. And I'd like you all first to make a rouse check for me.
Rouse.
Wait,
In a while.
Geeks.
quick question. Does that
Mhm.
technically mean also Hibari?
Yes.
Wait, but how?
Wait, how am I,
Available.
Because you are a kindred and you still need blood.
No, I mean not the rouse, I mean the message.
The message.
Because-
Well,
That and
that
also...
is an interesting situation, which we will come to soon.
Okay.
Needless to say, he will be informed about the meeting, though less directly than the rest of you.
okay.
Do I also got a roll for Luna?
Yes.
Well, who is coming to the ball tonight?
Mara.
Well, technically they're both going to be invited, so I don't know how that's going to work.
Yes.
Vic was living for this moment where I have to talk to myself.
Yes.
It would be
That's
interesting.
called a role play.
But for the sake of the session, I think if you are going to be playing Mara this evening, I will have Luna be present as an NPC for
Oh.
tonight.
But
Should
next
probably
time.
just sit with their sire
But next
and
time.
stay quiet.
Be ready.
Yeah, because I had told you I had picked an outfit for Mara when we were talking.
Yes. And that is 2 successes and 2 fails. Jason and Dent over at the den, not feeling particularly hungry this evening, but Mara, Hibari especially, it's been some time since you've fed. They've not been treating you particularly well over there, but again, we will come back to that.
Okay.
Tonight, I am going to open with you, Mara.
Yes.
As you wake from the evening, where are you staying right now?
At my club in a little room, just kind of just laying on like a couch next to a slate.
As you stir and feel the beast roiling in your stomach, Slate is there beside you, gently rubbing your shoulder and cautiously waiting for you to wake up. He knows you would never hurt him, but he sees the hungry look in your eye as soon as you stir, and he involuntarily takes a step back.
Sorry, I'm a little hungry.
Do you need food? And before you can say anything, he pulls back the sleeve of his jacket and extends his arm to you. If you need to, I'm here for you.
If you don't mind, that is.
Of course.
You're gonna take a bite out of his arm.
He winces in pain at first, though keeps his composure, and after a moment his eyes drift close and he drifts away as you drink. And how much will you take?
Just enough to take the one.
Just the one. Once you're done feeding, you release him, lick the wounds closed, and he slumps a little bit before shaking his head and straightening back up. Are you feeling better? He asks you as soon as he regains awareness.
Yeah, maybe you should drink some orange juice or something.
I will. He shakes his head again and makes to leave the room, heading for a nearby refrigerator. But he looks back to you and says, "A message, Josiah, arrived earlier for you. It's on the table if you'd like to have a look."
Okay, I walk over to read it.
It is a envelope. It has a very nice wax seal on it, and it is addressed from the Prince of Seattle to one Mara Withers.
I open it with like a sigh.
In a very formal script and very eloquent language, it lays out that there is to be an Elysium this evening, that the prince is calling to all of his subjects to attend a gathering this evening to discuss the state of affairs in the city, and all are required in attendance.
Shit. I pull up my phone and text Alistair. Just like a dancing emote with the question mark.
He very quickly gets back to you, and it's a short message. "I'll be there, will you?"
I text him back only if you save me a dance.
Of course.
But I also text quit picking at roses, you'll bleed.
He does not respond.
So, Slate, wanna go to a dance?
Slate comes back into the room carrying a glass of orange juice, about half full. He's already had several gulps of it, and he's looking a little bit better. The color's coming back to his cheeks. And he says, "If what for?"
I kind of wave. Princey want everyone to go.
Am I allowed to go?
I we'll see, and I look back at the paper to see if there's anything about it.
It does note that you may bring a retainer with you if you must.
I got a +1.
Well, in that case, I'll be there. I don't know how much help I'll be in that kind of a situation. He's eyeing the envelope, and you can tell that he was examining it earlier while you slept before deeming it safe to leave for you.
Mr. Sparkles. The group, he was still alive.
Still alive? Well, in that case, I just need you to stay safe, all right? And he looks extremely concerned but conflicted, unsure what he can really do to help.
Well, you'll be there, so maybe things will be okay.
All right. As long as you need me, I'm always by your side.
Should I tell them before we all have to go? I assume they also got the same invitation.
They probably did, but we should coordinate. It'll be easier to shore up our defenses if we're all on the same page. And you can tell that his mind is already worrying, trying to figure out some sort of defensive strategy if all the kindred of the city come down on you.
I sit back on the couch and I believe I do. Jason has the same number every time, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I rigged it so it all connects.
Alright, I call Jason up.
Jason, as you stir from your slumber in a side room of the den, the phone in your jacket pocket is ringing.
As my hair is all messy from night prior to a side story that will be up later eventually.
Yeah.
As I wake up
What's
with
Mara's
messy hair.
ringtone?
Oh wait. You sure?
I want to know.
I gotta think about this one. This one's it has to be creative.
Mara, you're sitting there just holding your phone to your ear as it continues ringing. On the other end of the line, Jason is listening very intently to your ringtone.
As he answers, hello?
Morning.
Good evening. Yeah. What's up? Sorry.
I'm assuming you're asleep, so you might find out in a little bit. We all got invited to a night out with the prince.
As they sit up, wait, all of us? I ruffle my
It
hair.
says all kindred are required to go.
I look around the room if I got any notice or if it's... Do I get any notice or can I notice anything in my room?
There's nothing in your room. However, you can hear bustle outside, people walking through the halls, and it sounds like some activity is going on out there.
As I'm like, well, it's very likely it's going on. Since, like,
But,
apparently we can hear something. Oh my god.
If we all go, we need to meet up, because I gotta discuss something with you guys.
Fair enough, but just be aware, I don't know where Den is right now.
We'll find him and meet me at the college.
Alright. What about, Luna?
I will text her and see what she's doing.
Okay, because if this is a thing, we might need her involved then.
I hate you, but it's okay.
I'm sorry, my character's doing this for a reason.
But I'll text her and I'll meet you at the college soon.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good evening, and I hang up.
I hang up and I'm like, why did I put Seinfeld as her ringtone? I shrug and just put the phone back in my bag. Alright, time to start the evening. Come on. Up. And I get up.
Having roused yourself from bed, what's your first move?
Go! First wash up. Can't be sneaky. Gotta be clean.
As you exit the room, there is indeed a bit of bustle. Dense henchmen are walking quickly through the halls, carrying equipment, and it looks like something is happening. Difficult to say what exactly. They're all carrying boxes, moving around like they've got important things to do, but it's not immediately apparent what.
As I try to find one of them to at least stop real quick.
It is the kid Marcus. You know him somewhat well. He's driven you around a bit, and he says, "Yeah, what is it? I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry."
What's going on? Literally, I just woke up and yeah, we got where's Dent, and also what is going on in probably any order?
We've got a big operation tonight. So if the boss hasn't told you about it, I'll skimp on the details. But needless to say, this is a big one. We stand to gain a lot from this. So I don't know if you're going to be involved, but if you are, we're heading out soon.
Heading out where though?
Well, we're all going to pile into our cars, and there's a shipment coming in down on the docks. We're going to be picking it up. Little bit of redirection.
Well, have fun with it. Wait. Also, second question: have Dent received any other type of notice? A message, I guess. Because I heard on the
think
phone.
there was some kind of delivery earlier, but you'd have to ask him about it. Nothing to do with our work.
All right. Well, can you point me to where your leader?
Take me to your leader.
Listen, I wasn't gonna try to make that reference, but now you pushed me. Just
He
is there a way to
looks
point
back
out?
over his shoulder as you're asking him for these directions, and he kind of scratches his head. I think he's probably in his office, but I don't know. Oil's around. Find her. She'll definitely know where he is.
I will. I guess I'll do so. Thanks. As I wave.
And as soon as you finish talking, he sprints off.
As I'm like, what a good kid. Too bad he's probably gonna get something bad happening since he's involved with this. As I put my as I scratch my head and proceed forward, making sure to adjust my hood with my cloak on.
Where are you headed? Still going to get cleaned up, or are you heading straight to
I'm just gonna skip ahead to go and talk to Oil to at least find Dent, since I don't have a GPS where Dent is necessarily.
As you enter the foyer, you see everyone is in motion. There are a good half dozen young men running around the hall, but standing at the center of it all is Oil directing traffic, and as soon as she spots you coming in, she waves you over.
As I wave back and I'm like, so what's the fire? Where's the fire? What the? Sorry, I'm trying to be awake.
That's quite alright. No fire, I assure you. But we have an opportunity to gain some ground, expand our territory. Nothing that you're concerned with, I'm sure. But Dent was looking for you earlier. I told him you were still asleep, and he decided to let you rest.
See, I can say he's a good guy, but sometimes I wish he'd just wake me up. Especially since, did you get a message, a notice? Because I was told that
We did.
we all are getting some type of invitation or some notice or whatever.
A missive arrived from the prince, and she makes air quotes as she says this, of the city. Apparently, we are all required to be in attendance. I am not sure how Dent is feeling about this, but he's ordered us all to leave on a separate mission.
Welcome back.
And I'm not sure if it's his way of distracting the men from his absence while he's gone for the night, or if he intends to skip out entirely.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like something's up. Something is. My brain feels like something's gonna be happening soon.
As this exchange is happening up on the second floor, Dent, you have just exited your office and made your way toward the balcony, where you see all of your hard workers down below, and Oil and Jason standing in the center of it all.
All right. As I see him, I just look towards him and I nod. Do I have anything in my hands by chance?
You have an envelope. It's a very nice one with a thick wax seal and a very stylized writing.
Okay.
Addressed to you from the prince.
Good. Good. I give it a bit of a waggle uh, towards Jason and just kind of motion with it to come up.
Waggle wiggle.
Wiggle waggle. I was gonna make a joke about Sakura and Smash. Da, 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 da.
Oh my goodness.
I was the mystery character all along.
You were truly Sans the skeleton. Anyways, Jason looks to Oil. Well, if you're gonna at least be coming with us, let us know so we can all party together. Apparently.
I'm apparently required to, so I'll be there. But first, I have to oversee the preparations for this job.
All right.
And she waves to you as you make your way upstairs.
I walk upstairs and like, good evening, Dent.
Hey. How'd you sleep?
It's asleep, especially. You know what? I'll tell you another time what happened to me. It was a night.
Fair enough. It seems as though we've been called to the ball, and me without any of my best suits.
Don't worry, as long as you bring your dress shoes, I don't think he's gonna be too prissy about it.
You're right. And I just kind of show the letter.
And as you look at it, Jason, you see it's addressed to one Harvey Dent's Law and Company.
Because I'm like, where's mine?
And much like a magic trick, I'd like to pull the other one from behind his ear, but really it was in my sleeve.
Roll
It
for it.
is an identical letter, almost. This one addressed to Jason Valentine.
As I take it, and I open it up to see if there's any differences or...
Nothing immediately of note, although you do see something as a postscript at the bottom of the letter. It says, clearly penned as an afterthought, not in quite the same perfect handwriting that has been copied over and over in all the other letters, but it says the respected Nosferatu of the city are acknowledged by the prince, but will not be required to attend should they choose not to.
That made a little tick to my brain, being like, this motherfucker. As I get a little, have a face going on, getting annoyed, as I'm just staring it down. I'm kind of crumpling it a little.
It's gonna be a fun night. It's gonna be a real fun night.
Ignorance is not a blessing. I can tell you that. I'm going.
I mean, good. Because I already had something picked out for you. It's wonderful. You're gonna love it.
No, I'm good with how I dress. Especially since he's trying to, as I show him the little text, how he's being so ever so nice to my kind.
You know what? Business casual.
Exactly. As I just adjust my hood. So normal. Gotcha. Maybe some nice
I was
things.
gonna suggest that we just go in beachwear, but I don't think that'll be as suitable as I think it would be.
Dent, I don't need to think about you in a...
Listen, my banana hammock is outstanding.
No!
Thank you.
As I shake my head. Don't give me this thought.
It's far too late, I'm sorry.
Whatever, but I got a phone call from Mara. She said that she wanted for us to meet up before we head to the party.
Sounds good by me. Let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. And hopefully, if that's true, I might see my sire over in this quote-unquote meeting, but I gotta hold my breath since I shake the note again. The love for us. The love.
We gotta hold on a tick, though, for oil.
As you listen, things have quieted down a bit outside of your office, and you hear footsteps approaching, Oil sticks her head in after a moment without bothering to knock and says, "Everything's in order. Should I have them head out?"
Yes.
Any parting words to them of encouragement, maybe?
Tell them anyone who screws up has to walk home.
Will do. And she gives you a small smile and heads out of the office.
As I look over at Den. Jeez, such a leader.
And for you,
Temporary
Dent, it's nice to see that little bit of emotion. You know she's been making a lot of effort in recent weeks, trying to regain some of the energy she had before she was turned.
And I'm super proud of her. That's the best part about all this, really. I was hoping that giving her all that leadership would probably bring something out of her, and it's working.
Gotta bring that spark.
Well, with that said, both of you have time to make your arrangements. The note says that the Elysium will be open to all starting at midnight, and it's currently about 10 p.m.
Well, let's go meet our party people real quick.
You say quick.
Okay, listen, it's not my fault you gave up your car, Dent. Dent, why'd you
I mean,
Dent.
but what? Fine. I won't power jog. Whatever.
We need a car.
Fine.
We need it because we almost got caught in the sun last time. I hope you
say
remember.
almost, but at some point I just carried you the rest of the way and we were fine.
But as it happens, Dent, a thought comes to you. There is a car available. It's interesting that he didn't take it when he left, but the Dawn always had a very prized car that he kept in a discreet corner of the parking lot, and it's calling to you.
Wicked thoughts are crossing my mind, and I just look to Jason. Jace, I have the perfect car for us. Let's go.
Can
Oh,
I
boy.
assume that you carried him bridal style?
Yes.
No.
And he hated it the whole way
No,
through.
I was walking. I would have slapped him.
Hissing, get off! Let me go!
It happened for like 2 walks, and then he was like, "No, this is stupid." And I was like, "Fine, whatever." And we ran the rest of the way.
Because
But
it was
those 2
almost
seconds.
it was almost the morning. That was the thing that scared me. Well, Dent was like, "It's fine." Oh, we need to pick up
As the
pace.
sun is cresting the hills.
Run!
We'll only get incinerated. It's cool.
Dent, go! Adventures.
We have good times.
As you two are making your way to the car, across the city in an underground complex far from any of the light and noise in the rest of the city, Hibari, you are in a small room, not the blindingly white cell we saw you in last, but it's a very simple room. There's a bed. There is a water basin to wash yourself if you need. And there is a camera in the upper corner of the room staring at you with a small light blinking. You
What do you do?
feel the beast in your stomach growling at you. It's been quite some time since they last let you feed. But a rap comes at the entrance of your cell. Let's not beat around the bush.
Zero.
Yes?
It's your turn.
I know. Thinking of what I want to say. Dang it. Sorry.
There's just a random rat at your front door being like,
A very large rat that's learned to knock.
"This is the rat."
What a subtle way to do this.
Hmm.
Fine.
So he went for the rat?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta explain that. Okay, so he went for the rat.
One for the rats. As it so happens, there is a rat scuttling around near the door. You're not sure how it got into your cell or how it escaped your notice for this long. Maybe it snuck in the last time they came to deliver your blood. But
Agent
it
Death.
is looking very delicious at this particular moment. And ignoring the knocks on the door, you scuttle over and grab it. Sinking your fangs into the rodents, you begin to drink, and it doesn't have very much blood at all. Just a small amount, barely enough to whet your appetite, but you do feel a little better, although the taste is very unpleasant. As you enjoy your meal, the knock comes again on the door, louder this time. And are you going to open it?
Yeah.
The light that streams in is blinding. Your own room is fairly dimly lit, which is a relief most of the time, but the outside light is much brighter, and you have to blink. But in front of you stands a familiar person who has been there quite often, although this evening he's looking a bit more serious and almost uncharacteristically inquisitive.
Ooh, who's that?
Agents.
Shit.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm actually happy to see Agent Diamond again. But,
Hello there.
well, good evening to you too. Today...
Sorry.
Please hold, as I'm being given dialogue.
Dialogues.
So, today, my dear Hibari, as he stretches. So, we heard that your quote-unquote prince, he got something going on from our friends up top. So, we need kind of you to kind of do your job now. What we have you here for. Time to finally show your use, if you get what I mean. We trained you, we taught you how to roll, to sit, to stay. But the main thing is to gather all the information you can from this quote-unquote party. Victor, is there any kind of way that he was given like Hibari's letter or no?
No letter, but the Second Inquisition has eyes and ears everywhere, and they've been in the know about this gathering. They don't know what exactly it is, but they know somewhere in the city this evening many kindred are going to be gathering. And there have been rumblings that they're planning Operation of their own.
Okay. So, my dear friends, I want to at least remind you one thing. Our ears are everywhere. Our eyes are on the net. And, you have to play nice. And remember, you are not allowed to reveal your association whatsoever. Because, as he taps his chin, your boss, the McNeil guy, he was asking some questions. You know, asking where you were. But let's see. Asking, but we've been quiet so far with him. So we'll just, we're going to have you go and do this job. Go to this party. Make sure you dress nice. Look happy for it. But remember, well, like, once you're there at the party, do not say a thing to your boss man about us, about your involvement with us, and also, one key thing that I forgot to remind you, but I'm gonna remind you right now, my vampiric friend. If you snitch, and not from a bullet. Trust me. Trust me. As your partner, we're partners, by the way. It's you and I, we're friends, right? You and me have been able to associate with each other. So let's say we're friends. And let's say I've planted you with an explosive in your chest without your consent. Listen. This is between friends. We're friends.
You put a bomb, legitly, in my chest.
I mean, there was times whenever you had your nights. Yes. So we at least have control of you. You play by our rules, or capiche? Because we got our plans. We got your. I mean, you have to listen to us, and you have to go to that party, listen to everything, and just relay it back to us, but not tell anyone about us. Not a single thing. Because, you know, your boss knows that he kind of threw you to us, but we're not telling him squat about what's going to happen next. So, and we're not going to tell you squat. But you get to live. That's the positive thing, right? Long as you say yes at this next part. And the question is, are you willing to comply? Well, just to be a friend, if you get my drift.
Yes.
That's a good answer. I like you. You know, as soon as you joined us, I knew you had such potential to be such a good spy. I can officially welcome you to this Second Inquisition. In my way, the higher ups they're kind of a little bit uptight. I'm trying to be a little bit more business casual, if you get my drift. But that being said, we'll at least get you some nice stuff. We'll make sure you're nice and ready for this party. And just remember, do not tell anyone a thing. Just anything. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Great. Alright, so my boys here will be able to take care of you, make you nice and dressed, and you look so clean. If you need to, I don't know, eat whatever you guys eat. I don't even know if you guys like guacamole anymore. Enough said, sorry. I'm being too talkative now because, you know, even if the camera's on, I get to at least be a little bit talkative right now. But that's enough being said. Alright, good. Good. You don't need to say a single thing. Alright, let's get to it.
You know, I kind of expected you when you said, if you snitch, I kind of have expected you to say, you're a bitch.
Nah, Agent Diamond isn't like that. But
Agent Diamond is a professional.
I am a professional, you know. Outside of threatening a friend that he has a bomb in his chest now that I will blow him literally the fuck up.
Meanwhile, in my head, I'm gonna rip this guy.
And Hibari, as he's delivering this monologue to you, you can just hear the blood pounding through his veins, and you can't help thinking how nice it would be to just drain him dry. Oof. But the camera, as always, is focused on you, and this revelation about the explosive device they've planted in you dulls your hunger a little. But with that address delivered, Agent Diamond begins to escort you to the equipment room. There is a team of agents outside of the door, men wearing dark suits and glasses, their hands on their hips where weapons are concealed, just waiting for you to make any kind of a move. And they escort you to a room with clothing and equipment to get you ready to attend.
All right, so we got all the things, doodads, anything that would make you look so great. Especially since you get a happy reunion with McNeil, was it? Yeah, your boss, McNeil. You know, since gotta make sure you look nice and pretty for everything. So exciting. Didn't I ever tell you I used to wanted a career in something in the fashion area? No, that's a lie. Anyways, let's dress you up.
Gosh.
Listen, I get to be funny slightly with this character.
Yes, you do.
A wee bit.
Yes, you do.
Alright, enough.
And so Hibari is prepped to attend, but across the city in the
Wait, can we also add that he has a little wire on him?
I would assume so. After all, they want to listen in, though any kind of electronic is easier to detect, and you can be sure that the kindred will be very protective this evening.
Okay.
But in the chantry across town, Fame is currently speaking with Luna about protective spells that she might wish to consider this evening, as she is finishing up the touches of getting ready to go to the Elysium.
I really don't want to go.
I know. However, we must. And he brushes his hair away from his face and gives you a very pointed look. Now, remember, you can place wards on yourself to repel others who wish you harm, but it will only work if they lay hand on you. So it's very, very important to be specific. You don't wish to repel those who would only give you a casual tap, and he's going on and on about various defensive measures, and some of them seem a little extreme and inappropriate for the situation, but he rattles on without thought.
How about, and I pull out one of my bloodstones. You hold that, and I hold this. So that way we can keep contact if
Good thinking.
split.
We'll always know where each other are. That is very useful. If you make to leave the building, I will be right behind you.
Good.
And if you ever see mine go upstairs for a while, then don't follow.
But
Just don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I can handle myself.
okay, I trust you.
And I, you, my child. And he gives you an affectionate pat on the head.
I pull up my phone and text James if he by any chance got a mysterious letter.
He texts you back that yes, he did, and he's not sure what to make of it. He has no idea what Elysium is, who the prince is, or what's expected of him, but he gets that he's supposed to come to the address at the listed time.
I text back, well, Wolfie, you want us to come pick you up and you'll join us in our little we don't want to be there club?
He says, yes, please. I will be right behind you. I really need someone to explain these things to me.
You got something decent to wear? They're very
No.
judgy.
He says, does a school jacket count?
I turn to Fame. You think James can come here and you can dress him up nice?
What does he usually wear? And do you
Sweat
by chance have a picture of him?
The picture you have of James?
I'm just asking if Luna has one, perhaps that she's taken of him.
I have that picture that you sent me when we were talking.
You show the picture to Fame, and he recoils in horror. Oh my goodness, this is dire.
By the
We
way, guys,
can't
this is
be
what
seen in high
we
society.
went with.
Oh.
That's what we went with James. It looks like.
Well, I'm sure we can do something about this, but time is short. We'll need to get back here, get a wardrobe for him, and he's making a list. But he looks at you after a moment. No time. We have to go. And he takes you by the arm and escorts you from the room.
I'm aggressively texting him, we're on our way, we're on our way.
Piling into the car, are your ghouls escorting you this evening?
I do have them escorting me.
Hmm.
I have Raven and Draven in the front.
And Draven is behind the wheel at the moment. He gives you a bright smile as he greets you. Good evening, my mistress. And Raven gives you a little bow as well. Mistress.
I do a mockingly fancy bow. Oh, good evening.
Raven gives you a little bit of a reproachful look. Come on, I was being serious.
I know. He's ready to possibly kick ass.
Draven tightens his grip on the wheel and says, I'm always ready. And Raven just shakes her head.
We'll play nice for now because Fame says we gotta, but I look to Fame. If they throw the first punch, we gotta punch back.
If by punch you mean envenom their blood so they will slowly corrode to death, then yes.
Yes.
We are not ruffians. We do not punch. However, we will certainly offer resistance if anyone attempts to accost us.
I'm gonna whisper over in Raven's ear. If they punch us, punch them hard for me.
She gives you a subtle nod.
We gotta go to the college because we gotta go save a fashion disaster.
Draven gives you a salute and steps on the gas. And as you're driving there, Fame is going over the letter, examining it, studying it, like he's somehow going to pluck more information from the page. And he looks to your two ghouls and then to you and says, what's the plan with them? Do you intend to bring them both into the building with you?
Do we get I look at them +2 invite?
It says you may bring one retainer. He scratches his chin. Well, we could say one is mine. I have no ghouls of my own. Never seen much need for them, since I spend most of my time inside. I'm rather self-sufficient, I'll have you know.
Yes, I'm aware. But if anything comes to the just in case at point, which one would you like with you? Raven and Draven are both worthy fighters and great assistants.
He balls his hand up. Well, they are yours. I would not presume to choose for you.
Alright guys, play paper, scissors, rock.
Raven takes his hand off the wheel and starts doing the rock. And Raven reaches out and grabs the wheel to steady it until he puts his hand back on it. No, I will accompany your sire, she says to you, and just gives Draven a little shake of her head.
I facepalm like Draven, I didn't actually mean it.
He looks a little abashed. And also, Sakura, yes, you can. Just tell me what.
What?
Happened?
Nothing. Keep going.
Waiting.
Oh,
I knew it.
okay.
He's waiting.
Alright then, Raven, you keep company with Fame. That means she gets to also go upstairs with you if you do go upstairs.
And Raven looks to Fame, who just raises an eyebrow, and she actually blushes slightly. Sometimes you forget, but Fame is a particularly handsome individual, and
Not like that!
Raven is a little stricken as he is fixing her with his full gaze.
I'm gonna cover his face with my hands. Stop seducing my goals.
He looks at you aghast. I would do no such thing.
You don't need to. Raven, look straight ahead. No being seduced by my sire.
She tears her eyes away reluctantly, it appears, and stares out of the window. She seems very stiff at the moment.
I give him a look of, I swear to God, don't touch her.
He just looks at you and he's waving his hands like, no, 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 no. But it's a quick trip up to the college, and as you arrive at James' apartment building, he's standing on the sidewalk wearing a jacket, t-shirt, sneakers, jeans. He looks extremely casual, and Fame's mouth just hangs open as you roll up to the curb beside him.
Everyone back away. He's seen his target. I like open the door cautiously. And I look at James and yelled, run!
He looks at you in confusion, and before he can take so much as a single step, Fame has sided up beside him and wrapped his arm around James's and says, "My boy, we have some work to do." And he escorts him back inside of the building before anyone can so much as say another word. And
Just hear him go, no.
a good 10 minutes later, they emerge from the building, and James looks very different. He's now wearing a tailored suit. You have no idea where they managed to procure it from, but it fits him perfectly. His hair is done up, and he is looking very clean and put together. He's been shaved, and he looks a little taken aback and unsure what just happened.
You seem traumatized, James. You okay?
I don't know what just happened, but I don't think it was natural. And he looks down at himself and where? Oh, I feel like time wasn't passing normally just now. I feel like I went somewhere and came back different. And Dame just puts a hand over his mouth. No, no, that's enough about that. Everything is ready. Let's go.
What happens in James's room stays in James's room. Well, nonetheless, I leave the door open. He's like, alright, let's all get together. You did a fantastic job, sire.
Thank you. And he gives a little bow as James just very confusedly makes his way toward the car.
Fucking Vince. Listen. Why can't we just make the wolf boy bisexual? Hey, it's okay.
That's fine. I'm acceptable. It just whenever he kept bringing it up, it just turned into this go.
I like men now. I turn to Raven real quick and I'm like, I know you said you're gonna stay with my sire, but if worse comes to worse, I need you to look after James. He's never been here before.
And his giant peach.
She looks him up and down and says, I will do everything I can. To be fair, I've never been either.
Well, I know you can punch real good, and so can he.
Very well. I shall punch with all of my strength. And she just kind of flexes her arm, making a small muscle appear.
I'm gonna do a gesture where it looks like I'm supposed to be blushing and fanning myself. My hero.
And she blushes again, although very deeply this time.
I look back at Fame and stick out my tongue.
And he just closes his eyes and gets into the car. Come, come, we have Elysium to attend. And with that, everyone piles into the car. And now I believe we will cut across town to the parking lot nearest the Prince's Tower. There's not much in the way of traffic this time of night. The streets are largely empty except immediately around the tower. It's a large, imposing building with a bright light at the top, and it draws the eye from blocks around. It's a very prestigious building, and it's obvious at a glance why the prince chose it to be his seat of power, such as it is. Now, having been acquainted with many of the kindred in the city and been involved in all of the conflicts that you have in these past nights, all of you have your own opinions about what power exactly the prince can exert. But tonight is a night to see firsthand what his idea of the city will be. As you pull into the lot, there are several cars parked already. There is the car with Dent and Jason and Oil still sitting in the driver's seat, tapping at a phone and distractedly glancing up at the building. And off to the other side of the lot, all alone, there is a dark car with a familiar face sitting behind the wheel. But Draven pulls into the nearest available spot, and the lot of you climb out.
Ooh, fun field.
Dent and Jason, you see this latest car arrive, and you're aware of the other car in the lot, although the occupant has made no move to exit yet.
As they nudge Dent. What's the plan?
Simple. As I say so, I open the side of the door and I step out and I walk towards the hood of the car and I just sit on it, cross my legs, and wait. Just fold my arms.
I put my hand on my face. God damn it, Dent, as I get out of the car and shut it. Fuck it, here we go.
Might as well.
As I'm like, ah shit, here we go again.
Mara wanted to talk to Denton.
Everyone seems to be present, but Mara has yet to arrive. It's late. Running a bit fashionably late, it would seem.
And just imagine that Slate is having a hard time picking an outfit.
He's trying so hard to find something fashionable, and you keep assuring him that everything he owns looks appropriate for the occasion, but he waves you off every time and says, No, 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 I need to match your style. I need to be presentable.
Well, okay, so I just text Jason, don't go in yet, I really have something important to say.
As I'm just waiting with Dent sitting on the front of the car.
Yep.
I'm just standing right by him. And I just message, yup, we're here, so we'll be here. While Dent's probably damaging someone's car.
I just quickly grab the tie and jacket that would match my outfit and give it to him. Here, put this on. You're a bigger drama queen than I am.
Jason, having just been accosted with clothing thrust at you by Luna, who has arrived.
Wait, I was
moments
given it?
before. Yes.
No, I gave it to Slate.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah, because she was still working with Slate.
Okay.
Oh, that reminds me.
No.
Forgot you didn't go dressed.
Well, Slate accepts the clothing and in moments is prepared to go.
You think Jason dressed up nice?
Nope. Nope.
Slate shakes his head very decidedly.
I'll just give him a really nice hoodie.
As I'm just like, Dad, can I just get some dress shoes?
I mean, if you really want them, yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
So now I'm just wearing dress shoes. Before we even
I
got
grab a
here, I
really
just got
nice,
dress shoes.
I grab a really nice fitted looking hoodie. It seems like something he'd wear, and it looks nice. Maybe.
As I go to Den, you know I'm gonna still represent the Nosferatus because this prince is a dirtbag, right?
I mean, rock it how you want to, my dude. I'm, as you see, just as I am. And for my attire is clothing that would make me seem like I am just someone in the crowd. Wouldn't really notice unless you're really paying attention.
I'm just dressed normally now. I'm just wearing dress shoes with this, and I'm like, I'm me, so gotta respect my fellow kindred.
But Jace, do you mind doing a little sightseeing around this place? I have this weird itch on the back of my neck, you know?
As I give him a nod, as I'm like, okay. As
Are you going to patrol the grounds then? Make your
Mhm.
way to the tower?
Well, I'm just gonna at least keep an eye out because the way he worded that just kind of clicked in my brain.
Well, if you are just trying to observe around you, then make me an awareness plus wits check.
Well, that and also I'm making sure my my other abilities are in check to trigger, you could say, as I'm stepping away. But
Your silence of death is active, of course, as well as your
Cloak of Shadows.
Passage.
Because silence of death.
Are you moving or standing still?
Well, I'm moving.
In that case, you will want unseen passage.
Fine, unseen passage.
You vanish from sight as soon as the eyes are off you.
Yep.
And begin quietly making your way toward the building.
Well, no, I'm going around. I'm doing a quick patrol as I'm trying to use my ability as I use heightened senses.
Okay. And then
we can
awareness
assume that
and
Mara's on her way.
Yes. And Mara will arrive in a short moment. It's not that far of a drive.
Can I do my awareness thing?
Let me go back.
Sorry, Friday the 13th's going.
Currently moved over to Lost Boys. So.
Okay, but what am I rolling though? If I'm trying
awareness and wits.
We all have different things playing. I have Dark Waltz music, Masquerade music.
I just went with Noir.
Oh man, I should have gone that route. Dang it.
It's all smooth.
Alright, and no modifiers, yeah?
+1 for heightened senses.
Dang it!
We'll just add 1 to the success, so that is 4 successes. Now, what specifically are you looking for? Just patrolling the parking lot, looking for any activity?
Basically anything. I mean, basically what made Dent quote-unquote neck itch.
Well, as you circle the lot, unseen, unheard, you see the occasional car drive by and just listening very intently, looking for any signs of disturbance or anything out of the ordinary. You do get a feeling from the corner of the building nearby. You can't say exactly what it is, just the subtle rustling of metal, like a chain being rustled by the wind. Nothing immediately that you can see, but the noise was there.
I try to keep an eye out for that general location.
going to move closer to investigate, or just going to keep your distance?
I'm gonna at least keep my distance unless there's actual movement outside of the plane.
Hmm.
Following my gut.
As you are standing there observing this corner, you
Hi.
catch the briefest flash of something moving there. It almost looks like a hand appearing from around the corner, beckoning to you.
As I get like,
Fly, you fool.
as I kind of rush it.
I'm just going to run up to the corner.
Well, I'm gonna like try to maintain my stealth, but I'm also gonna like rush over since I'm using unseen passage, right?
You are?
Yeah. So I'm gonna rush over, and since my my footsteps and anything that I have is just completely non-existent, I'm just rushing on ahead and making sure to at least stick to the shadows that's available to me while I'm hurrying over there.
Very well. As you approach the jangling of, it sounds like charms or a light chain, some small bits of metal jangling against each other. And it's coming from very nearby, just around the corner of this wall by the parking lot's edge.
As I look over to the edge to make sure, to see where that hand was.
Are you rounding the corner?
Yes, but I'm still like holding on to the edge.
As
I'm
you
like-
come around the corner, a face meets your own. And it is not a pleasant visage, but it is a familiar one. A somewhat growly voice tells you, "Hello, Jason. How are you doing this evening?" And you recognize this individual as one of the Nosferatu you met in the Warrens.
Wait, is it the good ones?
Her name was Susan.
Yeah. As I'm just like, I kind of drop my invisibility and I'm like, oh. Hey.
It's good to see you again. And she lets her own invisibility fall completely. You see that she is dressed not unlike yourself, some fairly ratty clothing, a hoodie, jeans, and she smells like she has only just emerged from the sewers.
Beautiful. As I'm like, wait, if you're here, does that mean my
I'm
sire or something?
sorry. She steps forward and puts a hand gently on your arm. He is still, well, resting. We keep an eye on him always, but he has yet to stir.
Just. Is there anyone with him right now? Because I don't trust
Of
two
course,
specific Nosferatu that.
we received the prince's invitation, and she gives you a bit of a wry grin through her twisted skin and says, "Many of us declined to attend, but we all agreed that we needed a presence in order to make sure what goes on within is not unobserved."
I nod.
And
I understand. And that's why I'm
we
going.
thought you would be here, but unfortunately we've been out of touch.
That's fine. You know us. We're kind of, as I scratch my chin, we're kind of distant, kind of not. Let's just say we're complicated. As I scratch my head, not knowing how to word it since he's not like he's kind of not 100% like them.
Yeah. And she gives you a shrug. It's all right. Cell reception is bad down there anyway. And gives you a bit of a grin.
So I scuff a little, like, true. But what happened to? But is there any progress since he's still resting? Has he recovered? Has he said anything else? Is there
No.
anything involving the Second Inquisition? As I kind of lower the tone of my voice.
She lowers her own voice and somewhat conspiratorially admits, we do have some leads. We think we might have pinpointed their location, or one of them, within the city. But we can't say for sure yet, and we're in no position to make any kind of move on them at this point in time. We've begun to seed our own surveillance nearby, and hopefully we'll have more details soon.
As I give her a nod. But what about the two guys that tried to off myself and my sire? What about them? What about those that want to harm my sire? They're still a part of it somewhere. I only know two, but I know there's more.
Well, I don't have that information, but I can give you something that you might find interesting. And she reaches into a satchel that's slung over her shoulders and fishes around for a moment, rifling through papers and bits of junk, and pulls out a piece of laminated paper after a moment and passes it over to you. It's a grainy photo. Seems to be taken from a red light camera at a nearby intersection, not too far from the library where you made your home. And in the picture is a black car, windows deeply tinted, more than can possibly be legal. And there are very bright headlights on it. You can see in the picture that they must have left their headlights on as they were speeding away through this intersection. And despite the grain, the license plate of the car is clearly visible.
Wait, I gotta cut this out.
This was taken the night of the fire, and she looks you in the eye and says, we've searched for this vehicle, but haven't been able to locate it yet. It's entirely possible that they've scrapped it or disposed of it somehow, but we thought it was worth giving to you.
As I give her a nod, anything at least helps. Especially if they're the people that are involved. As I take it. And don't worry, I have friends.
Oh, friends are good to have in times like these.
Especially what's going to be happening. So keep an eye on my sire, because I feel something's afoot.
We will. We make sure he's fed every day. He has yet to stir, but we hope he will soon enough. For what it's worth, his wounds are healing nicely. The burn marks are almost gone.
As I give a little sigh of relief, that's good. As long as he's taking care of himself, and if we can get closer to the truth, then hopefully maybe I can get my friend Dent to look into any more information about this. As I put the photograph in my bag, I appreciate it, and I'm gonna at least be there to represent our kind, since as I kind of take out the wadded ball known as what was left of the letter. His love for us isn't that. He's just kind of a dirtbag.
She nods in agreement and smiles at you. We agree, and frankly, it's laughable that he wants to claim dominion. It's been several years now since he staked his claim, but he has yet to make any real move to secure his power. No calls for a blood tax, no hunts called on dissenters. Frankly, we're all stumped what his plan is, but maybe today he will make his move finally, after all this waiting.
As I scoff, it is the most unluckiest day, so I wouldn't be surprised.
She looks at you quizzically for a second, and then you can see her doing a little bit of mental calculation. Oh, Friday the 13th. That is funny. Hmm. We don't have many calendars down below.
That's fair. I mean, eh, trust me, it's something cheesy, more cheesier than horror movies like with killers and as I pause. Never mind that last bit. But
Wow.
keep your eyes out. I feel like something's gonna happen tonight.
Me too. I hope it doesn't, but be safe.
I nod.
And
You too.
she gives you a wide smile before walking away and disappearing into the gloom.
As I turn back around and put my and scratch my head. It's gonna be a long night. As I kind of hurry back to where Dent is. I go up to him. So, how's that itch? Did you finally scratch it?
Yeah,
Well,
thoroughly scratched.
I sit.
Oil leans out the window. Yes, I can confirm he's been scratching for the last 5 minutes.
Listen, no one asked you to watch, Oil. No one asked you to watch.
I have to watch you. It's my job.
Yeah, but I didn't ask you. My statement still stands.
I put my I take off my book bag and I'm looking at it. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on as I kind of fold up the photograph in my backpack. See, and did you throw away my phone?
What phone?
I look at him. Here, I sigh.
Yay!
Let me give you another one. Wait, let me double check. Math.
Have you lost count?
No. As I give him one, so now it's at 7. But in the phone, underneath the phone, as he felt it in his hand, there was a photo, it was the folded photograph. Make sure to take care of this as much as possible.
I mean, I take care of all the phones that you give me.
You say that, but you broke the last one last time I checked.
You asked me to take care of them, and I took care of them.
I sigh. Whatever. This one's special. So hang on to it a little bit longer.
I very nonchalantly slide it into my pocket.
As I
As
put my
you
back.
are talking, a new car rolls into the lot, and you recognize it immediately. Behind the wheel is the imposing figure of Slate, and as soon as it pulls to a stop, he opens the door and helps Mara out of the car.
You know, if we keep meeting like this, I'm gonna start missing you as I look towards Slate.
Well, it's good to see you again. I see you're well. He eyes you up and down and scans the parking lots, looking for any signs of threats. Is everything okay here?
I mean, is it really ever?
He rolls his eyes. You know what I mean.
As far as one can tell, yes.
You and I both know that's not true, Slate.
I chime in. Well, it's just playing catch up with everyone. Come on.
And from across the parking lot, Slate spots the car containing Luna and her entourage, and he glances down to you, Mara. Looks like they're here too.
So it seems.
Hey, why aren't you
So, you want the good news or the bad news?
happy? Bad news, so I don't feel that sad.
I want strictly the bad news.
Dad always likes the bad news.
Remember when we rescued Rose?
Yeah.
Shoot.
I was upstairs doing my own research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had grabbed the letter, and when I told you guys to leave, and I read the letter, I had discovered that they are now using humans as clones, and you guys killed the clone, and my sire's still alive. Hey, look, Jason, I got you a new sweater to wear today.
I sigh as I'm like, just put it back in your car. As I put my hand on your face. You know, I could have appreciated you to wave us down or kind of go cough cough, nudge nudge.
You didn't hear me, Vic?
Yeah, I could hear you a bit. You were just cutting out a little.
Oh.
I interpreted what you meant, but I was like, you know, as I'm just putting my hands on my face, I'm like, now human clones.
I didn't really know about it, and I had to try to get in contact.
I shrug. It's fine. It's fine. You know, we're not worrying about the Second Inquisition, or this meeting with the Prince, or possibly more Nosferatu that want to at least kill my Siren Eye, or
One
even whatever.
problem after the first one is settled.
So
But
you
we're never
don't
gonna get
want the
anywhere.
sweater.
Put it back
I
in your
mean-
car. I will burn that thing as I
Wait, hold on.
glare at
Dance,
it.
do you
Let's
want
be
the
cool
sweater?
here. Yeah, I'll take that.
I give
Looks
Dent the
nice.
sweater.
Will you wear the sweater then?
Yes, but not in the way one would expect me to.
Mhm.
Put it
Go
on his
on.
pants.
Yes.
Stylish. I see what look you're going for.
Right?
As you begin to step into the arms of the jacket, Oil hastily exits the car and stops you physically, pulling the sweater back off and throwing it to the side.
How
could you? This is an important event. She restrains herself a bit. It's
I just-
important that we present ourselves well.
I just want to
Nice
look like one of those
sweater.
preppy youngsters.
Wait, did she actually throw it aside, or she
Yes,
she
she
moved
did.
She threw it to the side.
My
It is currently on the
sweater!
ground.
Slate's
You
giving her the
realize
meanest
a
look.
$500 sweater?
Pick it up. That doesn't.
Oil looks to you a little apologetically, but then crosses her arms. We are not animals, and I will not have us attending the biggest gathering in the city looking like we've wandered in from the wilderness.
As I raise my hand, I look like this. Is that a problem?
You're not my problem, she says.
As I'm
Well,
like, ouch.
this nice looking sweater was supposed to be for him, but Dance seemed to want it.
Listen, just I'll hold on to it. I just go and I just throw it in. I'll wear it outside of this, right? I'll still wear it.
Alright.
Oil gives you a reluctant nod.
All right, kitties.
I
let's-
didn't pay for it, so go for it.
Yes. I look over at her. You are very spoiled. You are very
Me?
spoiled. Someone.
Who are you talking to? Me?
You. Who else? If you're like,
I have a job.
You say job.
I got it from a modeling gig. I didn't want it. I was gonna give it to you. But you didn't
So
want
you're
it.
giving me
so now Dance has it.
hand-me-downs. I stare at her. Kind of giving her that look.
It was a $500 jacket.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you wanted something nice.
I'm fine with this. This is appropriate for my people. As I kind of wave the cloak a little bit. This is important to me. This is kind of...
And this is a nice black jacket.
That
That's
jacket
right.
can be good with Dent, as I point at Dent.
Wait,
Look, he's happy.
you're wearing a cloak? Yeah, but I'm just giggling and just thinking about the jacket. But then I just come back to the recognition that you're wearing a cloak, and I'm like, I could have done more. Could have done more this night.
Dent,
Like-
I've been
As
wearing this for the
whole
past
conversation
so many
is
nights.
happening from across the parking lot, standing, watching you, mouth hanging open, is Fame, who just looks devastated at this beautiful piece of clothing that was thrown on the ground.
His tears
And-
blood. Tears just dripping on his
A
face.
single bloody tear is dripping down his cheek.
My hands outstretched. Wait, this is not what it looks like.
As I
He
put my
comes
hand on
over
my
to
face.
the lot of you and says, "Who is responsible for this?"
I immediately point to Olive. Hey, Fame.
Oil just backs away and says, "Look, it was a misunderstanding." She just seems very intimidated by Fame and just cowering a little bit. You can almost swear that she, if she had a tail, it would be tucked between her legs right now.
Hey guys, look, it's the guy who gave me the sweater that I tried giving you guys. You guys disrespected it by throwing it on the ground.
Listen,
Yay!
I was about to wear it as a fashion statement. I'll have you know. And
You were, and
anyway,
you are forgiven for that.
I threw it in the car, so it's fine.
I would say it is nice to meet all of you, but in these circumstances, I cannot. And Fame turns very decidedly with his back towards all of you and says, "Good evening, Mara. How are you tonight?"
Very well. Didn't you bring Luna?
I did. And he beckons to her. She is standing in the back beside her ghouls, but the three of them come forward with a rather strange looking figure trailing behind them.
Is that Jace?
Come on.
Huh?
Jace, look.
What?
Jace, look. Just over there, look.
What? Who?
And Jason, as you look, you see James, although you barely recognize him at first glance. He is more put together and stylish than you've ever seen him before, and he looks extremely uncomfortable with himself.
I pity him as I look at
Hey,
him.
guys.
Luna.
Huh?
What's up? I hope you got my message that we did your Ghostbuster mission.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I got that.
Yeah, I
Wow.
wasn't gonna text you. You misspelled a lot of words and you sent a fish.
Listen, phones are hard
Why a fish?
because fish is a symbolism for peace and love in
For
life.
slapping your people with a fish?
So let's go. You know, it's time.
I sigh.
Really.
Well, outside of reunions, this is the best Avenger. Like, this is something, right? Hey,
I
Luna,
guess.
remember all the good. Anyways, I'm walking forward as I proceed to walk to change the subject.
And so everyone is gathered together at last, and will all of you as a group make your way toward the Prince's Tower?
Making my way downtown.
As we're all looking badass, just all of us ready to see what is to unfold.
Everyone's looking badass, and then you look over at Luna who's pushing James. Come on, it'll be fine. Raven's got your back.
You know, he's like, no. I don't want.
Raven is just gently trying to urge him forward, but he is acting like a scared dog right now. He's just whimpering a little, and he's like, "I don't want to go."
Come on, Cujo. We'll at least get you a nice, tasty treat.
Hey,
You could swear his ears perk up a little bit.
I'm just in the inside of my mind, I'm so disappointed. There's just like this air of disappointment and frustration, but it's all smiles on the outside.
You're like, come on, dude. You're making a bad name for gangrels.
And Oil quietly nods.
Just like the thoughts of strangulation, they're just passing through my mind like little pleasant images.
Yes, I kind of pat him on the shoulder. We're kindred, you know. We're you and I are just alike, one way or another. As I was saying that because we're also both Kate. Wait, James is Caitiff, yeah.
No, James is Gangrel. He
Damn it.
just
Who was I thinking about? Who was I thinking about?
In a sense, he is Caitiff because a Caitiff are the clanless. They are the lost, the sireless. But he has found mentors, and he's found something of a home.
He found a family. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
You certainly have something in common, though.
As I'm like, come on, let's just work together and get through with this.
And before we proceed out of the game, how much longer do you have before you need to sleep?
What?
It is already 11:30. So
I will go to the limits.
How long, buddy?
You need
How
to be
long?
I can
awake.
do hours.
No, you can't. You
Yes,
need
I
sleep.
can. It's
Never
already
said
too
you
late.
can't get some sleep,
Let's
dang it.
keep going. The longer we stall, the less we're gonna have because we barely even went in to start this special event. So I rather push forward, and if it's late, I'll get as much sleep as possible. And once I get home from work, I can sleep more.
Okay.
Fair.
Alright.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Because I bought like 4 things
We
of coffee
have
drinks.
a pillow on
Oh my
standby.
goodness.
Standing by.
Standing
Ah.
by. Metal Gear.
Now, will all of you as a group enter the building, or are you going to break into your separate groups?
Screw that. I'm gonna stick with Dent.
Yep,
Alright.
I'm just walking with everybody. If people split off, people split off. I'm just walking in.
Yeah,
Luna,
we're sticking with my
Mars,
team.
moving in together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna have Luna and the group move to a corner so that way, and then she's gonna turn to them and she's like, "We'll be in the corner watching people."
Hmm.
Are you gonna be that corner kid like those in high school?
Don't disrespect the wallflowers. It's
I look,
okay.
I look, I look. Luna looks down at herself, then at Fame, then at James, and then at her goals. Do we really look like we really want to be here? We all got
James.
dressed because of, and I point to Fame.
He looks offended that anybody would question his fashion sense or whether he is part of the party.
It is a lovely outfit, and we can have a dance while we still keep an eye out.
And so we shall.
The main thing is, as I just interrupt, we have to keep an eye out on our enemies, or who we know as our enemies in this gathering. Because if there's everyone that's coming here, that means the good and the bad.
I mean, it's not as if they don't have ears. They can hear. They know. We know they know. It's no real secret. We just all pretend like we don't.
But the main thing is, we have to at least be aware what the prince is doing with these eyes and ears on him.
Yeah.
Well, me and
But
Oh.
and
You're
Am I
coming
going
up
out
a lot.
hold
yeah.
on. Let me do this.
Okay.
Hello.
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 Okay, I was saying, me and Fame will be on one side, and we'll have Raven and Draven and James on the other side, keeping an eye out. Just,
Hmm.
shoot us a message if something happens.
We have
I
our
don't know how to do
phones.
those.
As I
Right,
look
you
at
have
Dent.
his phone.
And you have my phone, Dent.
Right, of course.
We'll stay by him.
However, as you all approach the entrance of the building, there are numerous security guards. Dent, you've been here previously on an average day, but there was nothing like this. There are dozens of people milling around the entrance. There are some confused kind around who seem to think that some sort of party is happening, but they are one and all being turned away by the guards, who you can see are kindred themselves. I would make you do a
Since the beast.
since the beast, yes, but it's very clear what's happening here, so not needed.
I mean, it's only for if they're really angry towards me.
Yeah, you can tell just at a glance that they are kindred, and no mortals are permitted inside without the express accompaniment of their owner. As a lot of you make your way to the entrance, they eye you, they pat you down, and they begin taking away anything electronic from each of you as you make your way inside. Who is in the lead right now?
Me.
Jason, they
I'm leading, even though they took all my phones in my book bag.
the guard takes away your bag and opens it,
Ah!
and you can see his eyebrows creep up his forehead as he spots the numerous cell phones you have inside.
And the
And
notebooks, and the
he
books.
turns and speaks with one of the other guards, and they just both peer inside the bag like it's some sort of holy grail of contraband. But
As I
they
shrug,
take
hey.
it away and put it behind the desk and give you a little receipt for the bag.
As I scuff and I take the receipt rudely and I'm like, "Meh." Stupid resin those my phones. My notebook.
And they repeat the process for each of you. Dent, Oil, you both have your cell phones on you, and those are confiscated. You're given tickets to reclaim them later. Luna and Fame both have your cell phones on you. They also note the bloodstones in your pockets, although it seems as though the guards aren't aware quite what they are, just some rocks you're carrying around, and so they return them to you without any questions.
Thank you. Those were an anniversary gift. I'm like, here you go, darling. Like, I'm just joking with Fame.
Oh, thank you, darling. And he accepts his back and tucks it into his pocket and gives you a very bright smile. Beside him, Raven is blushing again and looking a little jealous. And Mara and Slate, your cell phones are taken. And James has no possessions with him whatsoever. His clothes and everything he had having already been replaced by Fame when he changed him back at the apartment.
Security guards just want an excuse to touch him. Everybody just wants an excuse
They
to touch
feel
him.
him up, and yeah, he's looking very uncomfortable as he's finally allowed inside.
Look at Raven and give her that look of please look after him.
She gives you a very solemn nod and moves closer to him. But with everyone inside, there are numerous elevators leading up to the ballroom on almost the penthouse level, a couple of floors down.
Is the front desk guy there?
He is. You meet his eyes as you enter the building, and he gives you a very slight nod.
I just wink at him.
He gives you a very stony glare in reply. That small bit of friendly exchange was all he had in him.
It's like a holiday now, really. I'm just all smiles.
Man, what a party.
I
And
didn't actually say that.
inside, there are several dozen kindred milling around with their ghouls, with their children, their sires, and it seems that no one is in a particular hurry to actually go up to the Elysium that has been prepared. Everyone is staying on the ground floor, looking for people they know. And would all of you, or at least anyone who's interested in surveying the scene, give me an awareness and wits?
Wait, give me
Which one?
awareness plus wits.
Awareness and wits.
Prepare for me to know nothing.
I'm gonna have that plus heightened senses.
Although, with heightened senses on, the din in this room is fairly deafening. It's difficult to make out anything.
Fine, I turn it back
And
off and I'm like,
do you like to use a willpower?
Not just the willpower. I'd like to also amp that up a little bit
Okay.
by arousing.
Alright, make a
Come on.
rouse check then, please.
yeah.
I gotta roll for 2 people.
Okay.
I will.
So that
do
will put you at a 2, but you can also use a willpower if you would like.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hiya!
Hiya!
Hiya! Hiya!
Oof.
That's a critical.
Not only do you notice, you kill.
You meet eyes with the prince and you fight him immediately.
Luna got 3 successes.
Yay! Yes, so as you are all looking around the room, you've all had a moderate number of successes, but Luna in particular sees that the barons of the city are all in attendance, just picking them out from the crowd. And the prince is nowhere to be seen. He is clearly upstairs with the rest of the figures who represent his control of the city. And no one is particularly eager to make their way to the elevator. That entire section of this entry hall is practically deserted. But there is a lone elevator attendant standing there waiting for someone to come by and ask him to press the button.
As I look over at Denton, you want to humor this poor guy? He's just standing here.
Fine. Please.
Luna talks to Mara, telling her that the Barons are here. She wants to go find her friend. That would mean Annalise is here, right?
She is indeed. You can see her over in the corner, and Rose is with her, although she's staying behind Annalise. She's looking very demure and a little confused, and Annalise is being extremely protective of her.
It's late. Shall we go say hi?
We should. I want to make sure they're both okay. And he glances to the rest of the group. You all be safe, and just call if you need us.
Well, then we can't call.
He looks down at you, Mara, and says, No, I mean literally call, yell.
Don't worry, I'll have Dent here yell. He's a good yeller.
How dare you?
Alright.
Use your phone like a normal person.
I glare
don't
at
have
him.
your
the emoji
phone.
I
button.
glare at him for a moment. Anyways, I'll have Dent yell. But for now, keep
Alright.
an eye on a certain someone's sire.
Please give Annalise my best.
I will. Can Mara look around and see if she sees Alistair by any chance?
And with 3 successes, you have scanned the crowd, but you haven't immediately been able to pick him out. He said he would be here, but you haven't seen him yet.
Well, one way to get his attention is to be in the center of the crowd, right, Slate?
Very true. I'll keep an eye out. And he just places a hand on your back as you both begin making your way through the crowd. Are you going to immediately approach Annalise?
Yeah. Be like, Annalise! And I'm gonna have my arms open to give her a hug.
She smiles brightly at you and returns the hug, although you can tell that despite the fact that she's hugging you and she's doing her best to be very warm and welcoming about it, she is clearly distracted. And as soon as you let go, she takes a step back, just holding Rose close to her side.
While I was hugging her, I wanted to whisper, it seems like the dead does not like to stay dead. And then I let go.
She looks at you in confusion for a moment, but then a very worried look comes over her face, though she quickly squashes it and goes back to being her radiant, outgoing self. Oh, it's lovely to see you too, Mara, but she gives you a small nod.
Lovely day out, and I kind of like peek my head to look at Rose and kind of give her this like forced smile. And how are you doing, Rose?
I'm well, and she says she's well, but she doesn't seem it. She seems very distracted, very out of it, a little jittery, a little uncertain where she is, it seems. And Annalise just looks to her child with this very sad expression, turns back to you, and has a forced smile of her own. She's doing well, but she's still recovering. We are doing what we can to move forward. Put the past behind us.
Right. Have you seen, and I kind of give her this look of I'm hoping she understands, a sparkle in the night.
Not yet. I don't doubt that he will be here, but he has yet to reveal his presence. And she scans the crowd, just eyes slits.
Can I see up where the prince would be from where I am?
He is on a different floor entirely. You will need to take
Oh,
the elevator to go up there.
well,
And it seems as though some people are finally trickling in that direction, very slowly.
I kind of pat Slate on the shoulder.
Hmm.
Guess we'll have to ascend, wouldn't we?
All right. Okay. Remember, I'm with you. And if we get out, if anything goes down, my job is to
I
keep
look
you safe.
I look to Annalise and do be careful with the roses.
I always am.
And I'm just a call away. And I kind of wave to her as I walk to the elevators.
As you approach him, the elevator assistant, who seemed like he was practically dozing off, snaps to attention, excited that someone is finally ready to go up. May I summon an elevator for you? The
Please.
event will begin shortly.
Please, and I,
He
is
reaches
everyone still
behind
down?
him. Everyone is still milling around. For all the rest of you, what are you doing at the moment?
I think I told the elevator guy to take me up.
Yeah, we're
You just went
humoring
straight
him.
over there. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, we were humoring him because he looked like, oh, come on, guys.
It's
Guys,
like, you know,
please
it's fine.
don't patronize the elevator man.
It's not patronizing. That man works hard, and I appreciate that.
We should give this man a tip. As I'm just chiming in, I'm like, that, and also having a certain view on everything. Also, I rolled 3 successes. Did I ever see anything, by the way?
Let's see here. You have spotted Zane in the crowd along with his brother, who seems a little bit uncomfortable with the surroundings, but is doing his best to just accompany his brother, keep him in line. And Zane seems to be a little bit worse for the wear. Seems like he's a little bit thinner, a little bit less present than he was the last time you saw him. Clearly been under a lot of stress in the last weeks.
As I'm like, hey, Dan, you've ever heard about the Mario Brothers?
I think so. Yes, actually.
Like a chubby plumber and his skinny tall brother?
Yeah.
So think of that, but a certain friend of ours right now. I just spot him in the crowd. Wink, wink.
Oh. Speaking of friends, do I see the Don where I would assume he is at the moment?
He is nowhere to be seen. You can only presume he is upstairs with the prince.
Yeah. So it's... Okay. Well, I mean, did you want to go over and say hi, or are we just, knowing that he's here?
You feel like being introduced finally to his older brother? Wait, was it the older brother, like the small one, or?
His older brother, despite being a little bit shorter.
Yeah, let's meet Mario and Luigi then. I guess.
Why not?
Yeah, I think
You
you've never
guys
met
go
him.
ahead. Take Luna if you need anything. And I kind of gesture to the elevator man to call in elevator.
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 Other kindred are making their way over. It seems as though as soon as one person has gone into the elevator,
They follow.
a signal has been sent for the rest of the room to ascend.
Read the room, people.
Come, my flock. Just hide.
I know that means like go up for sure.
Alright. And Luna and Fame making their way up.
Yeah, they're just waiting till everyone else goes.
Lingering in the back. Well, being in the back, having a bit more clear view of the room as it thins out, You can see the barons there, all three of them. McNeil was sitting on a very plush looking couch over in the corner, along with a handful of kindred who seem to be his children. It's difficult to say exactly what the relationship is, but you distinctly recall that only one retainer was allowed, so surely they must be his children. Hmm. But
Gosh.
there is a small handful of rather unhappy looking kindred milling around. The rebels of the city. You haven't met many of these individuals, but you've heard a lot about them. The rabble rousers, the Bruja, the very outspoken anarchs who you're surprised to see here at all. But it's evident that they received the summons as well and have decided to show up, if only to spit in the prince's face. And they are making a scene of being the last to go upstairs.
I like the fame, so who do you think will break first, us or them?
Definitely them.
Oh, we shall wait.
What was
Then
I
we
said, then
shall
we
wait.
shall wait.
that? Okay. He gives you a nod and looks to James and your ghouls, and the lot of you make your peace sitting on some comfortable chairs as you wait for the room to clear. But upstairs, as the elevator doors slide open, everyone who has made the ascent is greeted by a very lavishly decorated ballroom. It seems as though they've hired some sort of interior decorator to make over what used to be an office space into a very opulent looking ballroom slash gathering hall. And the prince is currently standing on the opposite side of the room near a long table that has a number of not punch bowls but reliquaries full of what seems to be vitae, and chalices are lined up on the tables nearby. And a number of kindred, seeing the blood, can't help themselves from drifting in that direction, where the prince is ready to greet each and every one as they approach his table. Standing not too far behind him is a very surly looking gangrel. He seems very puffed up and full of himself and eyes every newcomer with extreme suspicion and hostility. But Dent, as you exit the elevator and your eyes meet, he gives you a wide, wolfish grin.
Wait, I thought we were gonna meet Zane and his brother.
Well, are you meeting them? Because they are already making their way upstairs.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I thought because we had a whole conversation. You know what? Never mind.
Well, you said that you made your way straight to the elevator.
Well,
Mhm.
in
but we
order
didn't
to,
get in, did we?
Well, I mean, if we humored him, then we got in.
Alright. Oh, we'll bug them later then. Never mind. Proceed. Wait, when Hibari though?
Hibari has yet to enter into the scene, although you do recall that there was another car present in the parking lots.
Okay. Well, as whenever we're up top, do we see all this that you just narrated? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. As I'm like, oh boy, I bet you they're trying to give everyone a nice tasty treat before we start our late night talk show.
Yeah, it would seem. As looking over toward the Don, I just in half mockingly way, just look over to him and mouth the words, Papa.
His smile turns into a bit of a snarling scowl. He covers it up quickly enough.
It's a thing we do.
I can see that as I just shake my head a little and then just look around to see if I can catch a glimpse of Zane and his brother again.
They are standing not far away. They haven't queued up in the line that's forming to greet the prince and partake of his blood.
As I look over at Dent. Alright. While everyone else is ass kissing, let's bug the Mario brothers now, finally.
Sure. Either way.
As I kind of try to pass through people. Excuse me, pardon me, sorry, hey, that's a nice, hey, look at those pants, that's catchy. Making remarks.
Making so much small talk with them. Oil, are you still behind me?
I'm here, and
Okay.
she is indeed following very closely behind you, just doing what she can to appear composed and a little bit detached from what's going on around her.
Yes. Wait, is there anyone reacting to like this person in a cloak clearly touching them while it looks
They
all...
absolutely are. A Toreador that you shove your way past is looking absolutely disgusted and straightens out his clothes, dusting it and trying to get off any muck that you might have left on him.
Did you touch them on the bum? That's the important part.
As I'm like, oh, sorry, I forgot to wipe. As I, like, before I walked away, I show him my hands in a mocking manner and then proceed to walk forward.
He is glaring at your back the whole way.
Oh, man. You make the best enemies.
That's the fun, though, as I proceed forward, finally getting to Zane. Zane! Luigi!
Oh.
I mean, Zane!
Hello. It's good to see you, Jason. It's been a
Same.
while.
I just want to know one thing, all right? Now, it's not, of the utmost importance. It's just very pivotal, and I need you to answer me truthfully.
Yes.
Do you know where the cat is?
Hmm.
Oh,
Cats.
I forgot about the cat.
He squints at you and rubs his chin and says, "Oh, that cat.
Yes.
It wandered back in a couple of nights after I saw you last. It's still there. I haven't seen you in a while, so we've been taking care of it.
Why do you
I'll
look
be
like
coming
a
to collect
mess?
soon.
Good. I've never had to keep milk in stock before."
Wait, you
What
giving
was
him
his
milk
name
or
again?
blood?
Blood milk.
What was the cat's name again?
Dr. Blue. I remembered it.
Ah, Dr. Blue's back.
He never truly died. Yay. I didn't kill off a character.
I mean,
As I'm like,
Although now that you're up close, you can see that Zane seems underfed. He doesn't seem well at all. It seems practically like he's gonna fall over.
I look at
Are
Zane.
you
Why you
okay?
look like you're about to die.
Just, I haven't been able to rest well for a while. We're always watched, and it's getting to me. And from beside him, his brother Angel just puts a steady hand on his shoulder. We've been staked out ever since that night. Everything we
Yeah.
bring in and out of the club is surveyed. And we've had to be very creative to get product in for our customers. Honestly, our numbers have dropped dramatically ever since then, and we thought about relocating, but we know it would be pointless. They would just follow us. Something has to be done, or it'll stay like this.
So you need eyes poked out. Interesting.
Don't forget, you
Say
have...
that.
Oh, sorry. Finish?
No, that's it.
Okay. As I'm like, don't forget, you have a deal with me, so... I'll at least assist if you need any helping hands, as I scratch my head. Because don't forget our deal.
I think we might. I'll be in touch. We could definitely use your assistance.
I give him a nod. You know my number. Oh, and I forgot. Since we never properly introduced you, this here is my friend, Dent. He has a business. I think maybe looking forward to a type of friendship as I nudge Dent a little. Yeah.
It would be quite wonderful. I'm sure your company is grand as Zane's over here.
Well, I'm sure we could make some sort of arrangement. And he looks you up and down and actually smiles a little bit, although it's a bit forced.
It's the Force ones that I enjoy milking the most. Well, here's to that then.
Give a nod. Well, we'll leave you to it. And hopefully you'll have a good evening. You two, don't stress too much, Zane. As I was so tempted to say that this was called karma in a way, but I didn't want to, so I just kind of was like, it'll be one of those nights. I kind of
Yes, it will.
I step away after that remark.
I just lean back and thank you for Dr. Blue. Seriously. Looking at you, buddy. You're the best.
Angel just gives you a small nod, and Zane seems just to stand there. He is out of it entirely.
Oof. Tough crowd as I just pull on the collar of my shirt. Then I look for, of course, the most lavish place of seating. Even though it may not look like I'm supposed to sit there, I'm going in that direction.
There are a number of tables that have tablecloths of deep satin, red and purple and gold, and there's expensive looking cutlery on each table, floral arrangements, and they're all equally nice, although there is a spot toward the stage at the far end of the room that's clearly reserved for Prince.
Ooh. Urge to do things is hard urge, but I just go to the floral arrangements. I go to those. I like them. I want to look at the pretty little flowers.
There's one on a table pretty close to you. There's some hibiscus, some lilies, and some nightingales.
I let Dent do his thing as I just separate from him, following my own, like looking around to investigate my own curiosity and if
I was gonna say I pat you on the shoulder. Try to be careful.
you try to play nice then.
I guess we're not gonna be doing a lot of trying.
I
just
shrug.
shrug.
That's how we work sometimes. As I kind of after that remark, I kind of leave him to whatever he was wanting to do as I go
Rubbing
off
my
to
hands.
investigate.
As I get ready to just go towards that flower. Like, come on, Oil, we're gonna go look at that. As I just point towards all the tables with floral arrangements on them.
She nods her head very well, and she strides behind you, still doing her best to look dignified. Although she keeps glancing over in the direction of the prince and specifically towards your side, but then stopping herself and turns with you to regard the flowers.
As I'm just staring upon them. You know, we haven't really talked about that. As I motion more so with my head towards the direction of the prince and the Don. How is that going for you exactly?
I can't help feeling a connection. You feel it too, don't you?
Of course.
Part of me wants to go over there and, I don't know, give him a report on how things are going, to pledge my loyalty. It's the strangest thing. I never felt this toward him before. He was just my boss. right? But I can't explain it.
Well, I mean, now we share blood with him, so technically he is dear old Papa. And that is probably why you feel these things. But I should let you know. Rather than fighting against the current and doing all that you can to make less eye contact and, well, outwardly avoid him, the best part about being us and him being him, glare proudly.
I'll give it a try. And she just stares hard in his direction, although it seems as though the dawn is pointedly avoiding looking in your direction ever since your eyes met earlier.
Don't worry about that. Don't try right now. He's still trying to be, as they say, cute about things. But it'll get easier. Just at this point in time, you don't have to really think of it as you used to. After all, he's now a parent. Or more of a parent than he was before, I guess. But the more important thing are these flowers. I mean, do they look fake to you? Because they look fake to me.
She sniffs at them. Definitely fake.
I knew it. Why can they never get actual flowers? They're gonna throw all this stuff away anyway, so they might make it look good.
Probably because they're too lazy to water them.
And they say we have bad taste.
And she just shakes her head and smiles a little bit.
There it is. I mean, we're already being forced here. You well, try and enjoy it a little bit. Make them uncomfortable, why don't you?
I'll do my best.
Very good. Now just pick a table, any table.
And together, the two of you make your way to a table nearby. Oil picks one with a pastel purple drape and sits down facing the stage so that her back will be pointedly to the dawn.
Yeah. Glorious.
Now, Jason,
Hmm.
you have surveyed the room. Is there anyone else you're going to speak with, or will you find a seat for yourself?
I'm gonna at least proceed looking around before I seat myself, because I feel like there should be other characters in play.
Wow. You can see that Dent and Oil have settled themselves into a table. You see that Slate and Mara are on the floor. And speaking of which, Mara, now that you are up on this floor, you have caught sight of your sire. He is sitting at a table near the front with two young ladies accompanying him, and they are laughing very loudly as they drink from their goblets.
I briskly walk my way over there.
He doesn't even look up as you approach until you are right at the edge of the table, and then very casually meets your eyes. Oh, my child, good evening. How good it is to see you.
Oh, darling, you really shouldn't have cockroaches at the table while you eat. And I
Oof.
give them both death glares.
They scowl at you and bare their fangs a little, but both of them stay quiet when he motions and says, No, there's no need to be jealous.
I would like a word with you away from dogs.
After the prince gives his address, we can talk at length. But for now, please, I'm enjoying the company of my new friends.
I look at Slate. Would you kindly take these ladies away from the table?
Slate seems only too happy to acquiesce, and he moves to the nearest chair, pulls it out, and very roughly yanks the young woman to her feet. It's impossible to tell exactly how old she is, since she is a kindred, but she seems very young to your eyes, and of course, you've returned young yourself, so you know his type. And Slate marches her off to a nearby table, and as gently as possible reseats her there, despite her protests. He marches back to get the other girl, but Mr. Sparkles has your full attention now.
I ignore him and I look at her. You want to get up on your own, or you want him to take you? He'll carry you if you want.
She just scowls at you and very roughly stands up and marches off to sit with the other girl, glancing daggers back at you every now and then.
I sit really close to him and stare him right in the face and examine his features.
Everything looks right, as far as you can tell. There's no incorrect eye color this time, but it could be that this is simply a better copy.
It is you, right? I'd hate to break another one of your toys. Although it wasn't me who broke it.
I will remind you that violence is not permitted in Elysium, he says with a bright grin. But do be assured it is me. I would not dare insult the prince by presenting a fake at my place.
Good, because we may not be able to have a chat here, but I would be gladly have a chat somewhere else.
I'm sure you would.
As you can tell, I'm very not happy with you.
Oh, I know, and it pains me so. But such is this life. And I do hope that I can win back your love, because I do love you, my child. And he gives you this sickeningly sweet smile.
Just sigh, and I grab his hand and I place it in mine. You're mine for the evening. No more toys.
Of course. Slate comes back to the table, having ensured the ladies are comfortably seated at their new table away from you, and seats himself directly opposite Mr. Sparkles so he can stare him dead in the eye.
Darling, you remember Slate, right?
Oh, I remember him very well. I must say you chose your bodyguard very excellently. I'm so proud of you.
Yes. All thanks to you. I would have never met him if you didn't have business to attend to.
Fortunate encounters. I'm just so glad that you've hit it off as well as you have.
Yes, but unfortunately we've been having to clean up your messes.
Well, one can't trouble oneself with all the details all the time. It's good to have others to pick up after me.
By the way, speaking of cleaning up your messes, do not touch Rose ever again.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it, especially since her charming sire has her eyes fixed on me whenever I'm spotted. I doubt I even could get close enough to lay a hand on her again.
And regardless, even if you did, she'd just call us back and we'd have to break more toys and more damage.
I certainly don't want that.
Mm-mm. We certainly wouldn't want it to look bad on us.
And he gives you a smile, although it feels very cold and very unwelcome.
I give him a kiss on his knuckles and we'll play good today, won't we?
Yes, we will. And he brushes your hair back from your face and gives you an absolutely loving stare. Jason, you survey this from the other side of the room, and this is the man that you killed, or at least it certainly looks a lot like him. It seems that Mara was telling the truth. It was a double.
As I just keep watching, I'm like, well, I guess ghosts can walk on this planet.
Everyone just watch me tell Slate to manhandle some girls.
As I'm just like, I am not surprised about this, though.
The Baruha finally make their way upstairs, causing a racket. The line of kindred that has been slowly filing toward the freshman table, greeting the prince and kissing his ring as he extends his hand, make their way to the tables, eyeing the incoming crowd with distaste. The rabble rousers seem to know to respect the rules of Elysium. They aren't causing any damage. They aren't being overly loud or blatantly using any disciplines that anyone can see, but their presence is putting everyone on edge. Everyone paying attention to them anyway. On the pockets of the room, like the table near the front, some kindred are in their own world, but everyone else is very aware that there is tension in the air. And the last group from downstairs comes up. Luna and her entourage have made their way out of the elevator, having won the battle to be the last large group down below.
You walk in with pride on your face, like, haha.
And some of the Bruja stare back at you like they want to start a fight, but they restrain themselves.
Question.
Yes.
Have we seen Hibari yet?
You haven't caught sight of him, but Hibari, have you made your way inside at this point?
Or did we start any dialogue before he went inside?
That was the one thing I was trying with my character. No.
Okay. Can we have the dialogue before we have him get in? Yeah?
Okay, I'm gonna change regions really quick because I can't hear him very well.
Oh no.
To the west.
To the west. To the west.
Welcome to the east.
To the Brazil.
Yes.
No.
Why won't you let me deal in things that are foreign?
Because you're not allowed to have
That
this.
makes no sense.
There we go.
Yeah. But
Hibari, repeat what you said.
I was just waiting for some dialogue going on with my character.
come in.
I actually had no idea what was going on.
Did they shove him out of the van and say, go, be free?
Yeah, we were waiting for some of that context with that.
Well, from the car in the parking lot where you have sat waiting with Agent Diamond, sitting calmly beside you, biding his time, listening occasionally to an earpiece that he's wearing, was talking in code to other agents elsewhere. He eventually looks to you and gives you a nod. Now's the time. Get in there, kid. And tells you to get out of the car.
Ah. Well, where I go, I guess.
The building ahead is very large and intimidating, but the number of people near the entrance has thinned out considerably. It seems as though the majority of the crowd is already inside, and any onlookers have figured out by now that they're not going to be allowed entry. Some stragglers are still hanging around on the steps, waiting for some kind of an invite, someone who will bring them in as a +1. But despite their hopeful looks, you know your instructions.
Do I notice anyone who I know outside the place?
As you make your way into the lobby, you do see a familiar figure sitting in a very plush chair over in the corner. Your sire, who meets your eyes immediately as you enter the building. He very heavily hefts himself from his chair and waddles over to you. My child, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a fortnight.
I've been around.
Never around.
Been around.
Well, I'm glad to see you unharmed. He looks you over with a piercing gaze. You could have reported in at least. Told me you were going to be away.
My apologies.
Well, now that you're back, I will need you to return. There's a lot of work to be done. This whole city is becoming a right mess, and it seems like the prince is finally making his move. And whatever happens, we need to be prepared. I need to tighten security. I need to hire more men. And I need you back to help me defend it all.
Yes, sir.
Well, everyone else has gone upstairs. I was hoping you would arrive, and now that you have, let's go. And he nods to his group bodyguards, all of his other children, who you are familiar with, and though not on any sort of friendly relations with, he doesn't allow any of you to work closely enough to build those kind of bonds. He wants loyal to himself alone.
Everyone's the same as always.
In the elevator, he whispers instructions to the rest of the children before turning to you. Stay close to me. I don't trust anyone up here, least of all the prince. And whatever you do, if anyone asks you anything, just tell them to speak with me.
Understood.
As the doors slide open, the scene inside is bustling. Numerous tables are filled with kindred, drinking goblets of vitae, looking out curiously at the newcomers, staring dissatisfied at a large group of ruffians who refuse to take their seats and are arguing loudly with some of the seated kindred, clearly trying to stir up trouble without so much as laying a finger on anyone. And would you like to scan the room, looking for any familiar faces?
Yes, I would love to do that.
All right. Awareness and wits, please.
Awareness. Press them both at the same time, right? Or...
Start with awareness, and then it'll ask you for a modifier, and then do wits. 5 successes.
Oh, dang.
Immediately,
Very
you pick Dent and Jason out of the crowd. Dent and his ghoul, you seem to remember, are sitting together at a table. And standing not too far away is Jason. Jason, do you spot Hibari as he enters?
I see him. And wait, is he coming up to me or is he?
He just exited the elevator, standing beside his sire and a squad of kindred.
I just remain to keep to myself, as I'm just curious about the speech and also the chess pieces that are being placed.
Aside from Jason, you also spot Luna sitting nearby. You met her briefly a while back, and you see that she's seated next to someone who's probably her sire, as well as several other individuals.
Everybody's here.
But go ahead.
Say, I wish I could tell him something that was happening. I want to try to figure out how I can pass on like a message to them. You know, it's gonna be risky.
Definitely risky, considering
You have a
the
bomb in your.
factors at play. But perhaps you can find a way.
Just
The
remember.
Dawn makes his way to an open table, however, and the lot of you are told by him to sit. And Jason, you were going to say?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. With all or most of the kindred in the room seated, everyone who chose to approach him having done so, Prince makes his way to the front of the room and ascends the steps to the stage. The chattering in the hall, even from the Anox who have been making a scene, quiets. They all, almost without willing it, sit down at tables where there's space available, sometimes next to the very people that they were arguing with moments before. And the prince gently clears his throat. He doesn't have the sort of intimidating presence that some of you may have been expecting. He seems very calm, very put together. He has a very tight set of dreadlocks. He's got a close-shaven, carefully manicured beard. He looks over the crowd and eyes them with his warm gaze and settles on the faces of the barons, and many of you meet eyes with him as well, just as he's sweeping his gaze over the crowd. And after a long moment, finally he speaks. Kindred of my city, it is so good to have you all gathered together this evening. It has been far too long since I came here, and it's very unfortunate that we have yet had occasion to have such a gathering. I'm very pleased that you came, and rest assured that any who chose not to attend will hear from me in the future, but that is their concern, not yours. Tonight, we celebrate our city and our lives that we all work so jealously to protect. I know that in recent nights, many of you have had hardships. Things have become difficult lately, and I can't help but think that some of you need a certain amount of guidance. It's times like these that it's good to have a support structure in place, have rules and organization to separate us from the animals that we could become, left alone to our own devices. But far be it from me to impose anything on all of you fine kindred. You are all so interesting, and I must say, in the time since I declared praxis over this city, I've been keeping a very close eye on many of you. And I can't help thinking that we ought to be better friends. I don't intend to act like many of my peers, to call in the Justicars and put to the sword any who disagree with me. I'd much rather reach a mutual understanding built on trust and respect. And as long as you perform the simple duties required of you, every last one of you is welcome in the Camera Villa. And he gazes calmly over the crowd, looking for the response to his words. And all of you begin to feel a slight pressure in your head. Just a very gentle prodding, as though someone is pushing you, just gently trying to not shove you, to force anything on you, but just to reassure you and just to make you feel comfortable and to make you feel open. And I'd like to gauge all of your reactions thus far.
I just immediately feeling that pressure, just resist it entirely, just altogether resist it.
Make me a willpower roll, please.
Can I also try to resist with Mara and Luna?
My willpower roll for both of them.
Is it willpower
You
plus
can
the
just
fortitude?
let me see. Because willpower is a combination of fortitude's your health, is what I mean to say. It is
So
your
roll
composure
willpower?
plus. Yes.
Oh, no, I meant for my
Oh, for right, you get the bonus. Yes, so +1.
Fuck.
Oh my.
That's unfortunate.
That's definitely unfortunate.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Luna's on her shit though.
Luna!
Can I re-roll a willpower?
Yes, you can. But make sure to mark yourself down and then do the roll.
Okay. I got 2.
2.
It just went up by 1. Oh boy.
Okay. That is 3 for Mara, 5 for Luna.
And it's 1 for the fortitude.
Luna
Let me
said,
just
"Not
double check. I want to
today,
make sure I'm doing it right.
Not today, Satan, not today.
Not on this occasion.
Not this day.
No, you're right. I'm looking over it now, so that would be +4.
Come on. Oh, did it go? It didn't go. Mine didn't go.
I think it's lagging a little bit on the scripts.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I shall wait patiently.
If it doesn't do it in a
What
second,
about
then
you,
click
Lucy?
again. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh my goodness. 3 successes for all those dice.
Right?
What about you, buddy? What you gonna do?
Dear Vincent, writing this letter to you.
What? Sorry.
Vince? You okay?
Yeah.
Did you pass out?
No.
Okay.
Wait, what was
We
the
were
question? I'm
asking if
sorry.
you wanted to roll against this feeling that of this presence that's wanting you to feel comfortable and all that.
Sure. What was it?
Um,
Willpower and what?
Just willpower.
Okay.
Just pure willpower? Something else?
Green power.
Green power, willpower. What should I think?
Would you like
I'll
to
do-
use willpower to reroll?
Sure.
Let me see. And I got a free.
It's 3 dice, right?
Yes.
Nope, missed.
Oh boy.
Alright. Well, most of you, as soon as these feelings start entering your mind, you push back against them and you feel your mind clear a bit. But as you do so, it's almost as if a fresh wave rolls over you. You've shrugged off the first one, but it hits you again harder for your resistance. And Jason, in your mind, this pleasant feeling won't go away no matter how much you try to shrug it off. It just seems reasonable, what he's saying. And you've felt these feelings before, and you know in your mind that you're being manipulated. But it's difficult to dissuade the feeling, nonetheless.
Can I hit my head on the table?
Oh, jeez.
If you'd like to.
I want to hit my head on
Oh,
the fucking
boy.
table.
Oh, jeez.
Give me
Oh my
a...
Oh boy.
trying to think
As
here.
hard
Give
as I
me-
can.
Give me a
Oh, no.
brawl and strength roll.
Ooh.
And everyone stopped what they were doing to sleep.
In my own
3
manner.
successes.
Oh my gosh.
You shake your head, and before the feelings can come back, you slam your head into the table,
Like that.
and you just feel the pain shoot through your head. These are very sturdy tables, more so than you would think. And the table does not crunch in the way you might expect. It seems as though there's some kind of metal reinforcement, but it does bend a little, and you've left a small dent, and your head is ringing, and you could almost swear that you've split the skin, although you wipe your hands over the spot and there's no blood.
Did anyone else notice the loud bang as I bashed my head?
They absolutely did.
Oh.
Everyone
Yeah.
close by you looks in your direction, and many of them have this detached, dreamy look on their face, and they look at you curiously and then look back to the prince as if you're a minor distraction from what he's saying. He is clearly so important. Some
How
of
did the prince react at all?
He looks in your direction. He doesn't remark, but he narrows his eyes a little.
Rude.
As I
Using
just
him
rubbed
as my
forehead.
distraction. I'm gonna push back against
Perfect.
that feeling that came on to me. I'm just using that as my little go ahead.
Seeing Jason slam his head into the table, you reawaken your resolve and let me review your roll up there. So many dice. I feel like that helped you shake off some of those extra dice that were pushing down on you. And you also feel your head clear a little bit, and Jason seems unharmed, thankfully, although a little dazed after hurting himself like that.
Just looking on with a bit of an oh.
As I'm just murmuring to myself, no more fucking manipulation.
Not
I'm just
today,
mumbling to myself.
Satan.
A Baruha sitting next to you says, "Yeah, man, we're gonna take this fucker down."
Fuck the system.
I look at
Yeah,
him, and in my
man.
head, I'm like, who the fuck are you?
My name's Roger. I'm with the Anarch movement. We're all here to crash this party.
Roger.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind as I turn back to face the prince. Trying to just make sure that I'm not trying to feel any kind of comfortable feeling.
It's there at the edge of your senses, but that fresh pain in your head is still lingering and helping dispel it.
Phantom pain.
Yep, if all else fails, even works for sleeping spells, stab yourself in the leg.
Oh my gosh.
The prince, having watched this little display and just gazing over the crowd as a ripple of people trying to resist his presence and failing. Some resist, of course. The barons generally seem unfazed, but he shrugs his shoulders just very gently and addresses the crowd once more. I have called you all together with a proposition. I told you that I'd like us to be friends, and I am sincere about this. For all of you who agreed to become members of the Camarilla proper, to follow the rights and the rules and the strictures of our society, I offer my personal protection against the outside influences that are attempting to take over our fair city. I know you've met them. I know that they're probably listening in at this very moment, but we need not be afraid of them. Progress will come, but we must progress as well. We have to find a new place in these nights that are always changing. It's our way to remain the same for millennia, but unfortunately, we can't afford to do that anymore. So, the time has come to adapt. And I personally promise you, as your prince, that I will see the Inquisition driven from our city, and I will see that those who are loyal to me will remain safe in the nights to come. Give it some time, think it over. I will not rush your endorsement, but let it be said that those who choose to remain alone, those who forsake my protection, well, I can't promise how the coming nights will look for you, and I say that with the deepest regret. But please, for now, enjoy the Vitae. Take your time, your leisure, and get to know your fellow kindred. For many of you, this is the only time you may meet. But let us all remember that we are one family, one kind, and we need not be separated. We should all come together as one. Thank you. And he gives a very deep bow before stepping off the stage. And a round of applause goes through the crowd. Some of it is very dreamy, detached clapping, others enthusiastic, but it's a light applause. Clearly, many were less than enthusiastic about the speech, but everyone seems to be considering it as a murmur fills the room.
No one yells out, "Boo, you suck." No one.
No one yells out "Boo, you suck," although some of the anarchs begin rising from their seat and making a very pointed beeline toward the elevators.
Ooh. I like their style. I kind of want to mimic them.
Are you gonna do it?
I'm totally just like, well, you know what? I mean, all the cool kids are going. I want to be with the cool kids. You should totally go.
She shakes her head a little. She was one of the ones who refrained from clapping and nods in agreement. Let's go. I'm tired of this place.
That's the spirit. Let's go. And I'm just, with my hands in my pocket, I'm just very sluggishly slandering on over to the elevators with those folks already leaving. I just look towards Don one last time, see if he's looking in my way.
He is staring dead at you, and just his eyes are wide, they're glowing red, and you can tell that he is not pleased.
I know, but this time, serious face. I look back at him, and I nod, and I give him a solid thumbs up, and I continue walking. Well,
As for the rest of you, how are you responding?
clap. I just kind of stare at
Oh,
You cut out.
dang.
I think she just says she stares at Alistair.
I think so, but
I just look at Alistair, see what he
there you
does.
are. Alistair was one of the ones very enthusiastically clapping along, just very pleased with everything that's happening, and he glances over to you with a bright smile. Well, this is a refreshing change of pace from the way things have been going, don't you agree?
Indeed, it's nice to see no one dying over anything.
It certainly is. Good to have order around here. There's been a distinct lack of that lately.
Yes, and I kind of make sure I keep my hand wrapped in his hand so that way he can't walk away. I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
Could I use premonition specifically to see what Alistair's up to?
You can use premonition to get a vision of the future. It'll come to you in the way visions usually do, as a somewhat hazy prediction, but you can certainly try.
There's letters in the coffee.
Okay.
F.K.
Right? No, wait. I think
Ooh.
I had something. Wait, what was I supposed... What am I supposed to roll for it?
Was
Let's see. Gives the character sudden hint that he's done some way, letting them find a clue they missed or saving them for danger. I'm scrolling.
faster.
Because we didn't put it down on the little side things and I accidentally rolled
I don't
it off.
think there is a roll associated. Let me pull up my book just to be positive. Because it's not like you have to make a contest roll or anything. It's just
Well, if it needed a rouse check, I had a rousing
you
success.
succeeded. Hey.
Yeah, it was 3 or 1 rouse check, and it was resolve plus aspects.
It is free or 1 rouse check. Let me see here. When would we do the rouse check then? The user
did
can
the
also
rouse
actively
check.
provoke a premonition
You
by
did.
focusing on the subject, making a rouse check and rolling resolve plus aspects. The number of successes determines the level of insight on the subject. So if you're specifically trying to gain knowledge about Alistair, then you would make the rouse check and then a resolve plus aspects.
Okay.
Or if you're
So,
just trying to gain a general premonition about the future, that's free.
I wanted to see more specifically about Alistair.
Are you trying to, well,
I'm honestly just kind of hoping I get a vision of something that has to do with his little clones, but I'll take anything.
okay.
Which one was it?
So make me a resolve plus aspects roll. Actually, I should probably just update aspects, or premonition, I mean. Let's see. Resolve and discipline. Okay, so you can just push the button now.
Okay.
4 successes. As you are holding his hand, staring into his eyes, and he's giving you that bright and charming smile of his, you let yourself drift away a little bit, and something starts coming into your mind as you will this premonition upon yourself. You see Alistair. He is standing at a temple. It's worn down. There are vines growing up the walls. It's clearly been neglected for a long time. And he's speaking with a hag. She's hunched over, wearing a tattered cowl, and she's holding her hand out to him. Places his hand in hers, and then she reaches out and tears him in two. and there are now two of him standing in front of her. She's holding hands with both of them now, and you can see that they're one and the same. They are the same person, but they're not. And when one of them fades into dust, she tears the second one, and another appears. And once again, there are two that are the same, but they're different. And just like that, the vision fades.
Hmm,
You see dead people.
I do. I give his hand a little squeeze. So, what's on your schedule for today? I look back over where the girls are. Cleared it up, as I would say.
Well, let's just say I have a full evening, but I always have time for you, my child.
More sightseeing, picking out flowers.
You could say that. I'm always looking for my next muse. Though, of course, you'll always be the first in my heart.
Is that what you tell everyone?
Well, that would be telling, wouldn't it?
Hmm. Well, no flower picking for you today.
Not as long as you're around. I already have the loveliest flower of them all right here.
Good. Oh. And I kind of like softly like rub my thumb on his hand. Do I get a little hint on why you play with toys now? Your look-alike looked really good.
Well, he seems to be weighing his words. And with this premonition still lingering about you, you just catch a thought that comes to you. Maybe something that he said, something the crone said, but he can't take credit for that work.
Wait, hold. What'd you say? Because it kind of cut out for me.
Oh,
It's
no.
my internet acting up. Don't worry about it.
Okay. You just caught a bit of a phrase, something that came to your mind from the vision, the lingering thread of premonition, but you know that he can't take the credit for the quality of his clone.
Okay.
But to you, he says, one has to protect one's well-being. It's a dangerous world.
I'm writing.
Sticky notes of death.
I'm writing his name in the death note. Yes,
Oh,
I
no.
suppose. Because obviously it didn't end so well the first time, huh?
Well, we may be immortal, but we're not invincible. Thankfully, there are ways to protect your safety a little bit more effectively than others. Someday you yourself may even acquire such power if you had the right teaching.
I'm always up for new lessons, but I don't think you want to give me lessons.
Oh, of course I would. Need only ask.
Well, how about you teach me some things? I'm always up for new learning experiences.
Perhaps I shall. In fact, are you free tomorrow night?
You know what? Just for you, my schedule just opened up.
I'll come by your place and we'll have a get together like we used to. It's been so long, hasn't it? And
Very.
I'll pass on his secrets. Something that I'd like you to have as my dear child.
My door is always open, so feel free to pass by anytime.
And he gives you the most genuine smile you've seen on his face in a long time. Across the room, as the crowd is finishing their revelry, some getting up, going to the prince to shake his hand, to kiss the ring, to get refreshments from the reliquaries. Many are leaving, less abruptly than the initial crowd who simply walked out as soon as he was done. But the official business has clearly concluded. And Dent and Oil have departed. Jason, have you made your way to the elevators, or are you continuing to survey the room?
I surveyed a little bit more as I'm trying to see if there's anything that catches my interest outside of wanting to see if Hibari's breaking off from his little pack or not.
Hibari, the dawn has remained very stony through the entire address, as well as the rest of his crew. You yourself were not particularly affected, though the effects of that second wave are still lingering somewhat. You feel relaxed and at ease in this place, even though you know you should be on guard, even though you know the consequences of everything that's going on right now. But you have a moment alone with the dawn as the rest of the Childer get up from the table and begin to prepare for the dawn's exit. And anything you need to discuss with him?
I don't know if I should say the thing.
He looks a little distracted. He clearly is mulling over the prince's words right now and glancing in your direction. He murmurs. Don't buy anything he says. He says he'd like us to be friends, but that's obviously just a setup. Don't trust him any farther than you can throw him. What was that?
I was trying to say to him, it has to be a...
Is he cutting out for you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Discord, you
Son
hussy.
of a gosh darn bit. Give me just gosh darn moment. And can y'all hear me okay now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough.
Okay, perfect. I had to fiddle around with my volume.
Okay.
There we go. As I was saying to myself, there has to be a way for me to give Dent and the others a message about my situation. As for me, I was trying to think of a way to do that, but is there a way for me to see what I can do? Because I don't know what else they gave me. I don't know if I know. I'm gonna guess they have something like that allows them to hear me if I say anything.
You were patted down like everyone else when you entered the building, but you weren't carrying a cell phone or anything obvious, so they didn't strip it from you. But there is a very small device resting in your inner ear, just outside of visible range, a listening device. So anything you say will be relayed back to the transceiver nearby.
Okie dokie. Let me see. I grab a. Is there? Can I see any type of writing, like stuff that I can write on?
Nothing immediately out in the open. There are some very fancy napkins nearby. And of course, there are the goblets of blood resting on various tables, as well as the ones sitting on the bar still.
I have an idea. I go look at the flowers.
Hmm.
These are fake flowers.
They are. They have hard plastic stems.
I can use this to write something. This may be my only chance.
Going to make your way around the room and gather up your supplies.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Nobody pays any particular notice to you. Are you going to just grab an empty goblet from the bar?
Yes.
As you approach and fill your goblet from one of the pitchers, a very gruff-looking man approaches you from the other side of the bar and says, "Haven't seen you around. Did you greet the prince yet?"
Not yet.
Be sure that you do. You need to show him proper respect.
Understood. Before I leave, I'll definitely grace him. I'll definitely give him some respect.
And
No
he
problem.
seems satisfied with that and turns his attention to the next person who approaches the bar. Clearly, he's made it his mission to harangue anyone who wants to take the handout from the prince.
That takes care of one. Well, let me get this out. There we go. This blood will do. As I grab one of the napkins and use the fake flower to start writing something on the napkin.
Going to
Right,
make your way to a discreet table, or
I'm gonna make my way to a discreet table. Now, where am I gonna go?
there's one available in the back corner, fairly far from the center of the room. You'd be basically by yourself. There's someone sitting at the next table over, but they seem very content, just draining their second goblet of the day, looking very pleased about the whole affair.
As I look to Jason to see if he would come over.
Jason, do you meet his gaze?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like he spotted. Finish this.
Hibari begins writing a message in blood on the napkin that's laid out in front of him. And what message are you leaving, Hibari?
Pretty much telling him what has happened to me these past couple of, I don't know how long has it been. It's been months.
It's been several weeks.
These past several weeks and what's been going on in my situation.
Jason, are you going to make your way directly over?
Is there anyone like close by?
There's the kindred at the next table over, just savoring their drink.
Yes. Well, he looks my way, but is he trying to nudge, gesture?
Hibari, any kind of motion for Jason to join you?
Yes, I'm trying to nudge him to come over.
I proceed forward as I look around, making sure no other eyes wander. Trying to just keep it calm as I just quietly pass.
The kindred at the next table over, a somewhat plump older woman glances at you as you pass by, and she sniffs a little, but gives you a friendly smile and looks back to her goblet.
She was going to eat
Oh boy.
Yeah. As I finally pass by Hibari and I'm like, I look at him like I try to sit by him, but just trying to pretend I'm not looking his way. As I just only sit by him and don't say a single word. Just looking around to see if there's any eyes that wander our way.
Give me an awareness in the wit space.
Okay.
And then give me a potato for no real reason whatsoever.
I say no more.
Thank you.
Two successes.
Let me just go find my potato.
There are a few curious eyes looking in your direction. Nobody is making any kind of a move to come over your way, but it seems that some of the more stately kindred are just eyeing you, particularly Jason, seeming a little, not outright upset, but a little perturbed that you've shown up to this soiree with a hoodie on. But
I wasn't wearing the hoodie. I was wearing the cloak.
The cloak?
Yeah, I've never once accepted it.
The cloak of power.
Vampire blade.
Yes.
I'm still wearing my normal clothing.
Yeah. But needless to say, they are just glancing around, not making any move in your direction. Many of them glance back to their table mates, resuming conversations they were having. Others continue to scan the room, trying to size up all the kindred in attendance. And Hibari's message is written out before you, clear as day, in blood.
I just slide it over to him, and then I get up and walk back to my sire.
I just pocket it, and then I take a step. I step up, and I try to head out. Trying to play it off as not really a part of the conversation. As, trying to just leave.
It's easy enough to slip out of the middle of the crowd. There's a healthy number of kindred making their way to the elevator now. The room is thinning out as everyone starts to disperse. The prince is still standing behind at the front of the room, greeting any who will come his way, kiss his ring, make pledges of allegiance.
Before I left, I just kind of give him a dirty look.
If he notices, he gives no indication.
And I just take the elevator and head off to rendezvous back with everyone else.
Luna and Fame, James, and the ghouls. How are you all handling everything?
I was trying to scan the room for people who looked important to talk to. That wasn't the prince.
Well, you've seen Annalise and you've seen Zane. McNeil is sitting off with his entourage over on the other side of the floor. You spot Hibari, who moves off to the side table where Jason interacts with him very briefly before they go their separate ways.
Drop my pen. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
And you do spot the sheriff harassing people near the refreshments. But is there anyone in particular that you are interested in?
No. Just trying to see who would be considered an important person to keep close contact with. Try to buddy up someone.
Well, there are a number of not people that you necessarily know, but clearly individuals of some standing in Kindred society who are lingering around the prince. You have never heard their names spoken, but you know that the prince has underlings who keep tabs on the city. The harpies who report to him and keep track of his affairs and the affairs of the clans. There is the Tremere regent, in fact, among them. He has only reluctantly come. He was talking earlier in the day about whether or not he would even be in attendance, but there he is, speaking with another of the prince's subordinates. And you do recall that although you stand apart, your chantry is in fact affiliated with the Camarilla, so it makes a reasonable amount of sense he would be here. But fame gives him a bit of a dirty look. He's never been a fan of the whole organization. He'd much rather be independent, studying on his own, and not worrying about someone else's politics. And he's made this clear to you on a number of occasions.
We gotta buddy up with someone, Fame. We gotta get info. You either wanna kiss the ring, or we gonna go talk to that dude.
Well, I'd much rather speak with him than the prince. I would sooner kiss a frog than the prince's ring. And you can tell he's repulsed by the idea of both, but one is clearly far worse than the other.
I look at James and I tell him, don't kiss the ring. If they tell you to, just be okay and don't do it.
He gives you a very serious nod. I've never been one for jerks like this guy. I can tell he's full of himself, and I hate that.
Vince, are you tired? Do you want to go to bed?
What? No.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you sure? Don't you have work?
Yes. But I'm just waiting until we get to a stopping point.
We're almost there.
Okay. Well, we go up and go introduce ourselves to the Tremere.
The regent smiles as he sees you approach, and he moves forward with his arms wide to greet you in fame. And he says, "It's so good to see you here. I'm glad you were both able to make it."
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Fame, a little conspiratorially, whispers to the both of you, "Weren't you thinking about not coming?" And the regent shushes him immediately. "Why, I wouldn't miss it for the world either. This is my place with the prince, and I'm glad to see you both here too. You do plan to pledge your allegiance, do you not? After all, our chantry needs to be united on this."
What do you think, Fame?
Fame is clearly very conflicted. He is having an inner battle about what he wants to say and what he knows he should say. And eventually he manages to say, "I think we should consider it further before we make any statements of allegiance."
We are here just to listen and observe first. We should all think this through very carefully.
The regent looks a little disappointed at first, but then he considers your words and gives you a nod. "Very well said. We should consider things thoroughly. That is our place. We must always consider every event from every angle, for that is how we learn and grow. And through true understanding is how we gain power. Never forget this."
Of course.
And it's
So,
quite clear by now that he has taken the idea and has already twisted it in his mind to be his very own piece of wisdom.
do I know his name or he just?
He is Regent Archibald. You've never known him on a first name basis, and for many in the Chantry, he's simply the Regent. But Fame knows him and says, Francis, I just don't feel confident leaping into this agreement. That's all. And the Regent gives him a level stare and simply states, I believe this is in the best interest of our clan and our chantry. We must ensure above all else that our studies continue uninterrupted, and peace through the Camarilla is a more assured way to continue as we have than the anarchy of other options.
As well as our safety, correct?
Correct.
When I say that, I kind of give him the look of, you can't be serious.
But you can tell when he responds that he is quite serious.
So, how close are you with the prince?
Well,
You seem to be getting all buddy-buddy.
to be perfectly honest, I don't know him very well, but we have always been associated with the Camarilla back to ancient times, and with their return to our city in recent years, it's only prudent to renew old alliances. And the prince himself seems like a decent enough man, so I'm happy to make his acquaintance and get to know him better.
I was just asking because I would love to hear more about our prince. He's a fascinating person.
Well, I'll tell you more at length when you have a moment.
I'm free tomorrow.
Good. I expect you to report to my office for a full lecture on the subject.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. I'll be there. And I give him a sincere smile.
He returns it just as sincerely. And Fame gives the regent a bow and then excuses himself, motioning for you to follow.
I quickly bow and follow him.
As soon as you're out of earshot, he says, I don't know what he's thinking, but I can't argue with his logic. I just know that things won't go the way that the prince plans. And we're better off the way we always have been.
Well, I will play nice and get info on this prince. He does seem very serious about this, though, and it concerns me greatly.
Me as well, he says, and there's little of his usual flamboyant attitude. He seems very concerned by what he's heard this evening, but he keeps any further thoughts to himself as he moves toward the elevator, ensuring that the rest of you are in tow.
I jokingly tell him, let's just start our own chantry.
He laughs and says, I would almost agree with you, but unfortunately ours has all of the books, and you know, I wouldn't be able to survive without them.
It'd be a shame if they all went lost and never found.
He's clearly aghast at the suggestion, and he's like, no, I could never, but he considers it, and he says, but what if they did, though? rubs his chin.
I motion for the rest of them to follow with us.
James, Raven, and Raven move in behind you. James seems just thoughtful about everything he's heard. This is all new to him, and he has little exposure to most of what's happened in the city. He's been fairly isolated, and thanks to your efforts, he has been kept largely away from all of the troubles that have plagued the city lately. But the thoughts that there is danger coming to the city is clearly troubling him. But Raven and Raven accompany him, and Raven still has her hand firmly on his shoulder, guiding him and giving him a reassuring squeeze as he glances back toward the prince.
He didn't die. That's good. That's a good start.
So it is. And Mara going to remain with Alistair.
Yeah.
And Hibari making your way back to the dawn.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And with that, everyone trails out of the room. And down below, that room as well is thinning out as the kindred hurry on their way, making the return trip home before the sun rises. Several hours have passed, and it's still the depths of the night. But dawn comes always too soon these days. And as you all reconvene, any of you sharing information, speaking at all before you part ways?
I just quickly tell him I'm gonna get a history lesson on our prince.
Dennis, Jason, Hibari.
Well, I'm waiting by the at the bottom of the elevator on the first floor. I am waiting for good old Jason before I exit, and making a menace of myself with the guy at the front desk.
For me, I just talked to my sire for a little bit, just to see what else has been happening.
He's only too happy to tell you about all the trouble he's been having lately, running the business while you've been away. Little did you know you were so instrumental to his operations, and it's very clear he wants you back working full-time immediately.
I know I was disappointed. Oh, won't be going anywhere now, sir.
Good.
My full divided attention.
I have big plans, lots of stuff going on, and we need to get you back up to speed immediately.
Understood.
In a van on the parking lot, not too far away, Agent Diamond smiles as he hears this. And Jason?
I'm just gonna rendezvous back with Dent and try to make sure that we can, go our separate ways out of this place, since I know trying to look into any of the information given, I'd rather save it for somewhere that's safer than there. Since the eyes and ears are that of the vampire kind, so rather not.
Yes.
You just see me serenading the guy at the front desk midway through. I see you, and I just kind of stop abruptly, and I just walk over and just ask, "Hey, you ready to go?"
Yeah.
Cool.
As I just kind of walk ahead of him in a pace, but making sure to stop by and turn in my ticket to get all my stuff back.
They return your bag to you, and will you search it to make sure everything is there?
Yep.
as you begin rifling through it, just making sure every last cell phone is in place, and the notebooks and the books, and security guard just very clearly looks annoyed that you won't take the bag and leave, but
I rummage through and even open up the cell phones just in case they try to play a sneaky one on me.
Everything appears to be in order. Doesn't seem like they've tampered with anything.
I put it in a bag, and I just proceed to walk away without saying anything. Yes. Hopefully Den can notice how I'm pacing this faster than normal.
Yes, but obviously this time I actually remembered my phone, and I go and get my own little ticket back, and I get my phone, and I resist the urge to throw it to the ground because I'm going to take care of it.
Oil seems very relieved that you don't immediately destroy it.
You see, I'm learning. Let's go.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. I'll see you later. As I just look lovingly towards the guy at the front desk.
He gives you the most forced smile you have ever seen.
Oh, he makes my night. All right. It's just the best, really.
That poor guy.
He doesn't get paid enough for this shit.
I really do feel sorry for the guy at the front desk.
He goes home and contemplates his life.
Yes.
And then
he
realizes,
does.
hey, it's a living.
It's a killing.
Yeah, I'm too tired to at least play the Seinfeld theme.
No,
We've done it.
my thing. Come on.
You know, this is the appropriate time.
Alright.
Sucker away.
Yes.
This is the only
It's the
thing you get for
appropriate
the night.
time.
And then after that,
You go pass out, buddy.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Go
going to.
pass out.
One last hurrah. We're searching. We're finding. We're fiddling.
Fiddle off it.
We're hacking the codes.
Hacking system. There we go.
Getting into all the AOL accounts.
Get in there.
Ah, feels good.
Vince isn't gonna pay me enough for this.
I
No,
really
he
hope
isn't.
I got that as my
He
ringtone
isn't.
as well. I hope that's the phone that you gave me.
Friends. As everyone moves on their separate way, the evening comes to a close. The prince's declaration has been made clear. Join the Camarilla or be left in the sun. The Second Inquisition is fully brought into conflict with the kindred of Seattle. And which side you will all place yourselves on is yet to be seen. But the attitude of the rest present will really determine the way the wind blows. So I'll be curious to see how you all conduct yourselves in the future as the conflict comes to a head. But for now, our story comes to a close, so have a good night and don't let the vampires fight.
Good night, everybody.
Sucker, no.
No,
Yes.
Sakura, you stop this right now. There's no need for-
Yes.
Nope. None of this.
Shame on
I mean, I had a slow jam playing during Alistair and Mars' conversation, so it's fine.
You had what?
It was a slow jam playing. It was great. It was like at the exact moment where the noir was just like, nah, we're slow jamming it now. And I was like, okay, I'm cool with this. This is fine.
Oh man.
Alright, good night, everybody.
Good night. We got to see the
Good
length of
night,
how
everybody.
petty Mara can get.
Tom Petty.
Haha, he's petty.